about business.
Serious about business.
Welcome to another edition of Corporate Events. I'm your host, Amita Prasad Webb. Today we bring you the SEBI closeout event right here at the Venetian at the Terra Nova Hotel. Please stay tuned for highlights.
We're celebrating 6 years of sector development and social enterprise excellence led by the joint USAID and JN Foundation initiative, SEBI. With our sector founders, champions, stakeholders, bi-social consumers, and social enterprise practitioners. Take this journey with us from 2012 to 2018 to see how the triple bottom line of people, purpose, and profit approach to business is changing the face of entrepreneurship and social development in Jamaica, one community at a time.
The JN Foundation made a very conscious decision to address a specific problem within the social sector, which is the inability of social organizations to effectively deliver their core services. After years of seeing social interventions discontinue due to a lack of funding and understanding the changing global landscape in which grants and donations are being reduced to this region, former General Manager Safi Brown designed the Social Enterprise Boost Initiative. In 2012, the JN Foundation partnered with USAID to introduce and formalize the social enterprise model. SEBI's goal was to assist organizations operating within the social sector to become income generating and self-sustaining whilst addressing social, environmental, cultural challenges. SEBI proved that social enterprises can become viable businesses through targeted support services such as capacity development training, mentorship. A number of our enterprises were assigned mentors, equipment support, and networking to some 35 social enterprises in business incubator and accelerator programs. The enterprises over the period of SEBI were able to generate over $186 million and employ on a part-time and full-time basis over 500 persons. They introduced innovative products to the market, and some experienced phenomenal growth over a relatively short period of time. The impact of SEBI also reached over 100 additional social organizations that participated in the open network activities. Among our outcomes were inclusion of persons living with disabilities. At least 20% of social enterprises in the SEBI incubator and accelerator programs were either owned or operated by persons living with a disability. The partnership between JN Foundation and USAID has created what is now an emerging social enterprise sector. There is enthusiasm about using business as a force for good, which has been at the foundation and the heart of the JN brand. The Social Enterprise Boost Initiative, which was a partnership between Jamaica National Foundation and USAID, has ended today. For us, we are very proud of the pioneering work that we have done in terms of introducing this new form of business model to social organizations where they can move towards become more self-sufficient. Today we really recognize the enterprises that stuck through the program, the enterprises that made significant improvements. Enterprises like DEFCON, Educators, Inspire 365, Brescia, Bunkers Hill. The JN Foundation has really always done things differently, not afraid to take on new areas, new ideas, and SEBI, social enterprise, was another testament to the kind of innovative work that the foundation does.
So talk to us about SEBI, how it came about, and what was happening at the time for it to, or why people felt that it needed to come about.
The reason that we designed SEBI was as a response to these kind of ongoing needs of organizations across Jamaica for funding. And JN Foundation had had tested the social enterprise model through the source in 2007, done a number of them across the country, and were able to show that social enterprises were a real tool for community development, and then responded to these organizations that needed funding, that we couldn't provide enough funding. We just didn't have enough money to constantly be able to say yes. And instead of just sort of being sitting ducks and responding with no's, we can't help you, we decided to develop SEBI as a real tool for organizations to figure out a different way to become sustainable. We saw this as a growing risk and a growing threat for the voluntary sector in Jamaica. And so SEBI was as a direct response to that threat to make sure that we provided a different opportunity for organizations before they sort of ran out of steam, ran out of funding, and closed their doors. And so this is what we had in mind when we designed SEBI. We applied under the Development Grant Program 3 with USAID and started the project in 2012.
7 years later, we're now at your closeout event, which is a big deal. What are your thoughts and personal feelings?
I mean, you know, SEBI has been extraordinary. From where we started with the source back in 2007, I remember everybody looking at me and somebody telling me you're talking mumbo jumbo when I said something about social enterprise, to today where everybody understands and knows what that is. And that, you know, there's so many different organizations in the space now, which is really exciting. And so for me, it's really just about, you know, very proud to have created this framework where organizations can choose what they want for themselves, but there is an avenue for that. And yeah, just really proud of the accomplishments of the team. We had a great project manager in phase 1, Jennifer Sharia, and Opal White in phase 2 really took the project to the next level. And so we're really, really proud of them. And then we couldn't have done this without USAID and their contribution over the years.
And that was the first segment of the SEBI closeout event. I hope you still be here when we get back from break. We have more. Please stay tuned.
M&A Strategy and Advisory. Are you planning for a merger or acquisition? M&A transaction. The decision to embark upon an M&A transaction is not one to be taken lightly. Whether pursuing a merger or acquisition, or considering a disposal or divestiture, the complexities of an M&A transaction require careful planning and execution. Clients can depend on our specialist teams to lead or support transactions requiring specific expertise on issues including business modeling, fast-track M&A, economic consulting, and government public sector advice. With deep experience, knowledge, and tools, Dodge & Global can meet stakeholder targets and expectations. Dodge & Global consulting teams can help you make smarter, more effective decisions. Let's have a conversation. Contact us at email info@dodgen.global. Website https://dodgen.global.
Coming up on point this week, we're talking coronavirus.
How will it affect tourism? How will it affect the shipping industry, business, commerce? We're talking about it right here on Point this Thursday on Business Access TV and on YouTube. Tune in.
Welcome back to the SEBI closeout event right here at the Terra Nova Hotel. We go straight to stage.
Over the last 2 years, this social enterprise has grown their employee base by 10 times, added 11 more outlets to their distribution channels, and increased their annual revenue, as you heard before, from $4 million to $13 million. So help me welcome Social Enterprise SOCENT 28 awardee for growth, Team Def Can. Come on up. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the SOCENT 2018 awardee for innovation, Educators JA. And the SOCENT Award for Inclusion, Superior Craft, and more. And next, the SOCENT Award 2018 for Rural Generation. Next Step Lifelong Educational Services. The SOCENT 2018 Media Champion, Ralston Hyman. Thank you so much, Ralston. Come on up. And the SOCENT 2018 Public Sector Champion, Charmaine Brim of the Planning Institute of Jamaica. Thank you for your passion. The SOCENT 2018 Private Sector Champion. That one goes to the Jamaica Stock Exchange. We're going to be handing out some certificates to all the participants of SEBI. We call them our pioneers. Give everybody a really huge round of applause. Your contribution to this sector is going to go far and wide.
We're here at the SOCENT Awards 2018. You're an awardee today. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, it's very encouraging, affirming. We were awarded for growth, and at the end of the day, that's what we're about. We want to continue to grow our impact in the deaf community in Jamaica. And so 2 years ago when we started the SEBI program, we had 2 employees. Right. And now fast forward 2 years later, we have 14 full-time employees of 10 to 12 other youth that are engaged in part-time work and transitioning into full-time work when we have more opportunities for them. So being able to grow from 2 to 14 in 2 years has been an incredible achievement, a lot of hard work by our team, and is encouraging for us just to receive that award and have our youth be able to go up on stage and receive that award.
Yeah. It's a big deal and congratulations. In regards to DEFCON being a part of SEBI, how exactly did they help move your business along?
I mean, before we were involved in the SEBI program, we didn't really understand what social enterprise was all about. Gotcha. We didn't understand it as a sector. We did not start Def Can Coffee with the goal of being a social enterprise. It was really just a reaction to the issues that we saw where our youth felt very much like they can't. Like, oh, I'm deaf, poor me, I can't. And it's like, no, you can. So it was mostly about reaching into the community and getting our youth to believe in themselves. But then as their confidence grew and we got involved in the SEBI network, got opportunities to do more events, started building partnerships, and our staff were working at other cafes and coffee shops in different locations, their confidence grew, and then the rest of society started recognizing them over and over and over again too. And so we realized this is actually a message beyond just the deaf community, because Def Can started strictly to encourage our youth to believe that they can, but now they're getting the Prime Minister's Youth Award for Social Enterprise. They're getting Social Enterprise Awards here at this event. So as they get more recognition, other people are starting to realize, oh, Def Can. And so now we have even bigger sights set on just changing how people view the deaf community as a whole.
So Def Can, you're growing. What's next?
Next for us is continued growth through partnerships. We have existing partnerships already in Kingston, in Portmore, in St. Elizabeth, in Montego Bay. And so if there is a company out there and all you want to do is serve good coffee, but you don't know where to start, you don't know what to do, there's not baristas in Jamaica readily available, come to us. We'll work with you, we'll develop solutions, and we'll provide a staff member that's trained already as a barista and help you serve the needs that you have with your customers.
I extend on behalf of the JN Foundation our gratitude to the USAID for partnering with us on this project, and commend the SEBI and the JN Foundation teams for the seminal work that they have accomplished during the past 6 years to make this project a success. As Jamaicans, we can all play our part to help our social enterprises to excel in their businesses. That's what Buy Social campaign is all about. With all our financial support, these entities cannot thrive. When they succeed, Jamaica succeeds. Well, Jane, history. Start from helping the poor and people with problems. That's our history. And unlike giving handouts and charity, JN Foundation really felt that we want to be able to help those in communities who can't help themselves, to be able to empower them to be able to help themselves going forward. We were very lucky to have been able to have a partner in the USAID who saw and captured what we're trying to do is in terms of community development and also nation building. What it started in few areas, now it's nationwide. And you can see that we have hundreds of small groups who are now able to help themselves and to be able to turn a profit and be able to make useful lives for themselves. The relationship or the program with USAID has just come to a close. So the foundation is moving it or changing it from SEBI to SEJA. So this will continue. We will work with other groups in helping communities to grow and using the same model since it has worked, and we're sure that it will continue to do well. So we're very happy in what we have seen, and you have seen the numbers of people that are turning out, with people turning hobbies into business, but also having social conscience or environmental importance, while at the same time making enough revenue to make the business sustainable. And that is what the difference in terms of from a social charity to social enterprise business.
Coming up on Point this week, we're talking coronavirus.
How will it affect tourism? How will it affect the shipping industry, business, commerce? We're talking about it right here on Point this Thursday on Business Access TV and on YouTube. Tune in.
Dodge & Global offers a CPA scholarship program to team members who join our team. A career in accountancy at Dodge & Global is a great choice and can offer you excellent job prospects. We believe that an accounting education is the greatest gift you can give yourself or anyone else. Few gifts make as significant an impact as the gift of an accountancy education with a job. It's a contribution that lasts a lifetime in the form of learning, opportunity, and success. Join our team and get the opportunity to be part of our CPA scholarship program. This scholarships awards program will be administered by the HR department of Dodge & Global. Requirement: first degree in accounting. Employed at Dodge & Global. Willing to pursue the CPA examination. Here's how to apply. Submit application to Staff Accountant, Dodge & Global. Email sa@dodgen.com.
You are an awardee here today. Congratulations. Tell me a little bit about your business.
So next step is a social enterprise that's focused on youth engagement and employment. So we offer services such as coaching, training, speaking, and tutoring in the parish of St. Thomas and also anywhere in Jamaica or the region.
You were an awardee here for rural regeneration. Talk to us about that.
So we operate in rural Jamaica in the parish of St. Thomas, which is often underscored as a parish that is behind. So we have positioned ourselves as a social enterprise to be a part of the mission, to be a part of the change. And that started from my personal story where I had issues of self-worth growing up in a rural parish where there are so many rural stereotypes. And I looked around me and realized that the young people were equally affected just as I was. They were not delivering themselves as they should in terms of self-delivery and self-awareness. I wanted to make a change. Started a social enterprise that's really doing a great job. We partner with Heart Trust NTA, with the British Council, with various organizations that have similar mission to truly make a change while making profit.
It's basically the end of SEBI. This is their closeout event. What are your thoughts on that and I guess your feelings?
Well, SEBI has been a phenomenal support to our brand. So in terms of our brand presence and positioning from our look and our feel, we have gotten a lot of support. And they're also big on making sure that your capacity is built to match that powerful branding that we have at the front. So we had business mentorship. We were able to put in some systems that we did not have before. We actually know what the triple bottom line really means in terms of people, passion, profit. So we're taking care of our staff better, having the systems in place to make sure that inside and out that we are a powerful brand. That's the biggest thing that we have gotten from SEBI, and we're really looking forward to Social Enterprise JA. We're now well positioned to benefit from some of the support that will now come from the Social Stock Exchange and other movements that are taking place to strengthen the social enterprise movement in Jamaica.
But what's next for next step?
Well, for next step, we're looking at actually scaling up. Our services are now well packaged. So we have Ready Set Go coaching program, we have a Prep for PEP mobile clinic, and we have the CCC training package, which looks at communication and other 21st century skills. So that is now nicely and tightly packaged, something that we didn't have before. So now we're pushing it. We're getting more support from corporate brands who are now booking us for services. We have had just a few international engagements, but with now the branding and the presence that we have with SEBI, we are sure that a lot more regional and international engagements are coming.
Talk to us a little bit about Educators JA. What exactly it is that you guys do?
Well, Educators is an edtech and adventure tour company. We in essence make learning fun by providing people with experiential learning and gamified field trips that are powered by technology. So we are combining exploration with things like playing, technology, exercise, things like that. Yeah.
You are the SOCENT Award winner today for innovation. Talk to us about that.
So I think, as I said, because we combine exploring with the technology, it's not a virtual experience. It's more of people going outside, learning about their country. People are involved at the same time, but the phone is really what's different. Using your phone as a tool. We have an app called Adventures. So people can download this in the App Store. It's not available on iPhones as yet, but the app, in essence, allows you to explore, learn, and have fun.
Talk to us about Educators Jamaica and your involvement with SEBI and how you've grown by being a part of SEBI.
So apart from us making learning fun and giving people tours, our tours, we have a clear social mission, which is not only to educate youth, but to include them. Inclusion means giving tours to students or young people that wouldn't necessarily get a tour. Somebody who's homeless, somebody who's deaf, so we include them. We also employ them. So we have them as creative writers and tour guides. These are youngsters that we train and recruit ourselves, giving them skills that they can use elsewhere or with us. And SEBI is really the organization that discovered the social impact that we are having through our tours. They were the ones who molded us into a social enterprise.
It's their final, their closeout event. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm just happy to be here with people who we consider to be family at this point. We've grown with them. And I'm looking forward to what SAGA will do for not just Jamaica, but the region. I'm looking forward to seeing more people become aware of what a social enterprise is, more people coming into the space, but with innovative ideas, fun ideas, things that they would consider to be their talent and so forth. I'm just looking forward to more people making social impact through business. So it's purpose plus profit. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Hey guys, I'm Candy and welcome to Chill Spot, Jamaica's ultimate leisure show. This season promises to reveal some of the hidden treasures of the lifestyle industry by taking you to the chill spots of some of Jamaica, giving you a glimpse into how they choose to unwind and just pull a vibe. You won't want to miss what happens next. Stay tuned.
I do have a dream. And I know you have a dream, that we can make Jamaica the place of choice for you to choose to live, to work, to do business.
We are going for the Jamaica we want. Making steady progress to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals in our National Development Plan, Vision 2030 Jamaica. We have teamed up with valued partners, working through strong institutions to reduce inequalities in our society. We commit to being responsible in our production and consumption, ensuring we build sustainable communities in harmony with nature. Jamaica is making significant strides in providing quality, lifelong education for all. enabling our people to be engaged in decent work to drive economic growth, equipping men and women with the skills to build resilient infrastructure, promote sustainable industry, foster innovation, and utilize new technologies. Urgent action is being taken to manage natural resources responsibly, protecting clean water sources, ensuring access to water and sanitation for all, diversifying to alternative energy sources, conserving our environment and sustaining life below water and on land. Jamaica is making moves to ensure healthy lifestyles for the well-being of our people. We're promoting sustainable agriculture to achieve food security, improve nutrition, and end extreme hunger, putting in the work to end poverty in all its forms. We're on track in achieving our sustainable development goals through realizing our Vision 2030 Jamaica. We will leave no one behind.
And I'm chilling right now, cause we're winning right now.
My name is Levon Flynn, and you're watching Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Our ultimate vision is to have access to a space where modernization and development are at the core of all we do as Jamaicans. What better way than government charting that path, creating footsteps of those very same things we seek so we can follow suit. It has already started, and from here, we're only promised a better island home. Welcome to our new Jamaica, and welcome to today's Jamaica Magazine. I'm Theodore Henry, happy as always to take you through the invaluable experience that our magazine provides.
Let's get a little breeze on this land. All right. Now let's get some bounce in the rhythm. All right. Let's get some fire on our hearts. Now that is what we call all right. Run, come, get some Jamaica.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, March 4. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clarke says a contingency provision has been set aside in the budget to adequately deal with COVID-19's onset should this occur.
A response would take the form of ensuring, for example, that we have adequate facilities for quarantining, which might mean preparing buildings and we have appropriate, medication and so on.
The Finance Minister was addressing members of the Standing Finance Committee of the House during a review of the 2020-21 estimates of expenditure on Tuesday. Minister Clarke says Jamaica's stable economy has put the country in a good position to respond to possible economic downturn in production and trade from the coronavirus COVID-19 outbreak.
The good news is that the central bank, we have resources on the fiscal side, we're economically stable, and the key is to monitor, to get information and be in a position to react as soon as the situation demands it. Yeah. And we remain nimble enough to be able to do that.
The Ministry of Education has developed a 3-tiered education in emergencies response system as a precautionary measure to brace for the possible introduction of the COVID-19 virus on the island. Under Level 1 of the strategy, bulletins are issued to schools outlining tips and measures to prevent its spread. Level 2 involves updating bulletins issued to schools advising parents to ensure children who have flu-like symptoms remain at home until they are fully recovered. Schools will also be provided with between $30,000 and $50,000 to procure and distribute hand sanitizers, hand washing soap, and disinfectant. Under Level 3 of the emergency system, school leaders will be asked to create online spaces for children who are unwell to continue their learning. In addition to providing Wi-Fi compatible tools such as tablets, the ministry will reschedule exams or activities as well as extend the school year if necessary. The Education Ministry says online learning kits are being prepared by the ministry's curriculum unit for uploads on the MOEYI websites. PEP practice booklets and PEP camp workbooks have been prepared for electronic distribution to support continued preparation. There will also be multi-sectoral partnerships to ensure consistency in messages and informed responses. And Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the island's National Disaster Committee will meet this Thursday to extend its national response to the COVID-19 virus. From that meeting, it's expected that a subcommittee to deal with the day-to-day management of the island's disaster response mechanism will be formed. While the state is implementing measures to protect the island from the virus, Mr. Holness called on citizens to make their health a top priority.
Exercise greater caution and vigilance in public places. Be careful about the surfaces you touch. That is the personal responsibility and the personal vigilance that every citizen will have to protect our country.
In other news, ground has been broken for a one-year $950 million project. Tuesday's Port Royal Street Coastal Revetment Project will see to the building of a 1-kilometer seawall along the corridor that stretches from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs building to Raytown. In addition to drainage upgrades, the raising of the roadway, and the construction of a boardwalk, a new 80-meter fishing beach will be created.
This intervention will secure the Port Royal Street corridor and protect critical infrastructure along the coastline from the impacts associated with sea level rise and coastal erosion.
The project is being managed by the Jamaica Social Investment Fund through a World Bank loan. And finally, government and the World Bank have signed a $40 million loan agreement for implementation of the second phase of the Rural Economic Development Initiative READY2 program. Tuesday's signing is expected to improve access to markets and increase resilience to climate change for 200 micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises in agriculture, tourism, and community-based activities in rural areas. Some 70,000 persons are to benefit from investment, training, and capacity-building initiatives. READY2 will be implemented by the Jamaica Social Investment Fund.
It will consist of multiple parts, and the first part will seek to ensure that the linkages within the rural economy are deepened and are strengthened through initiatives such as ensuring that we can have access to drought-resistant crops, for example, that are climate-resistant, and that the supply chain is strengthened through the implementation of cold storage facilities, drying and packing houses, and so forth.
We are very proud that we can help and contribute to your vision of enhancing growth and improving employment opportunities.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Let's start with developments in our public sector. Government has created this program that is shaping a public sector that is easily adapting to meet the needs of today's citizens. It's a high point of development for our nation, and today we want to share that with you.
Transformation is about creating a public sector that can adapt to a radically changing environment to meet the needs of the 21st century citizen. And that's exactly what the Public Sector Transformation and Modernization Program, PSTMP, has been doing right here in Jamaica.
The Public Sector Transformation and Modernization Program is a government-wide initiative managed by the Office of the Cabinet. The program encompasses projects which build the capacity of workers and provide support and direction to ministries, departments, and agencies to enable them to deliver the highest quality of services to people who do business with the government of Jamaica.
One service being transformed is the registration of businesses at the Companies Office of Jamaica. In times past, business or company owners had to go through several tedious steps to complete this process.
The customer would come to the company's office to register a business name. Then he or she would have to go to the tax office to get an NIS number. The transaction cost, the travel cost to do that was high. The time to register a business name was high as well.
In 2008, the Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries implemented a one-stop shop program. And in 2014, the Business Registration Form, or BRF, was developed.
You complete the business registration form, more popularly known as the super form. You submit it to the company's office, and once you have done that, once the application is approved, then you are not only registered with the company's office, but you're also registered with the Tax Administration Jamaica. So you get a TRN, Taxpayer Registration Number. You're registered with the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, so you get an NIS number, and you are registered to deduct contributions on behalf of your employees for NHT and Hard Trust. So with the introduction of the super form, transaction costs were cut significantly, as well as the time to register. And it was more convenient because you just had to come to the company's office and you'd be registered with all the other business startup agencies.
The BRF has significantly reduced the amount of time to start a business from 6 to 4 days for a company and 4 to 2 days for a business name. To date, approximately 50,400 business names and 14,000 company names have been registered using the form. But it doesn't stop there. In April 2014, the Public Sector Transformation Modernization Program team started working with the COJ to develop an electronic version of the manual business registration form, the EBRF.
The electronic business registration form is just to allow persons to register their business names from anywhere in the world that they are. So they don't need to come into the company's office. They can stay whether they're at their homes or in their offices, as I said, wherever in the world they are, and register their business names. You can find the EBRF form on our website. The website is www.orcjamaica.com.
All that's needed is reliable internet access, a subscriber account with the COJ, an email address, a scanner for uploading documents, and information to register your business or company name. And for those who may not have access to a computer or internet service, the EBRF will be accessible through kiosks set up in revenue service centers across the island, as well as at the company's office in Kingston.
So the kiosks are really set up to allow persons who do not have internet access otherwise to register their business names online. And they will be using the electronic business registration form. That is just an electronic version of the super form. There are 3 kiosks that will be placed at revenue service centers in Montego Bay, in Twickenham Park, and in the Constant Spring tax offices. Those are the first set. There will be other kiosks in the future.
Once you have successfully registered your business or company name on the COJ website, you will get an update within 2 days. A notification will be sent to you via email that the COJ has completed the registration of your company or business name. The email will also include an electronic copy of the certificate of registration. You can then arrange for the registration certificate to be sent to you by courier, or you may pick up the certificate at the company's office.
The international investing community as well as the local investing community, they look at the World Bank's Doing Business Index, in which it ranks country according to the seamlessness of doing business in order to mobilize investments. When an investor is thinking about investing, they look at that index. Now, the Companies Office plays an important role in the mobilization and creation of businesses. And one of the things that we want is to create business as efficiently as possible, because entrepreneurship is important to economic activity and the acceleration of economic growth. The Companies Office has space constraint, so they much rather people not come into the office in order to register their businesses, because it's a more efficient process. And that is why the electronic registry is so important, because we need to create more businesses in order to accelerate economic growth and to create more jobs in order to improve the quality of life of our people.
The Public Sector Transformation and Modernization Program, PSTM, will continue to increase public sector efficiency and satisfaction, making Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. The EBRF is a project of the Public Sector Transformation and Modernization Program of Government and the Companies Office of Jamaica. The project is funded by the Inter-American Development Bank under the Public Sector Efficiency Program.
For more information on the electronic business registration form, you can go online www.orcjamaica.com. You can email us at costsupport@orcjamaica.com, or you can call us at 908-441-9223.
Register your business online, register your business
from anywhere in the world.
It's easy to register your business or your
Register your business at the Companies Office of Jamaica's website, orcjamaica.com. A message from the COJ and the Public Sector Transformation and Modernization Program of Government and the Inter-American Development Bank.
Developments are also sweeping through our trading industries, opening up a range of big possibilities for Little Jamaica. That just means that a lot is happening here, and recently there's been a simplified way of conducting international trade transactions through an electronic single window for trade. Here's more on that.
Picture this. You're a busy entrepreneur working hard to grow your business. At the wharf to be cleared are the materials needed to make your products. You are required to visit several government offices and fill out multiple forms with similar information to complete this activity, spending time on the trading process that could otherwise be invested in your business. For you, this may just be a mental exercise, but for many entrepreneurs in Jamaica, it is the reality of trade. A reality that will change with the introduction of the Jamaica Electronic Single Window for Trade. An electronic single window ESW is an IT platform that facilitates the efficient clearance of cargo.
An electronic single window is expected to bring simplification, harmonization, and facilitation on international trade transactions under a robust electronic environment. This will bring facilities for customs brokers, government officials to interact with a computerized systems that will have a set of business rules that will allow the traders to fulfill all regulatory requirements, submit all the required data, and be able to complete their transactions in a single and seamless system.
With that electronic single window for trade, clearly it's an electronic form, and that will be filled out one time at your convenience, online, and then behind the scene, the BRAs, the Border Related Agency, will collaborate to ensure that your application is accepted.
The agencies connected to the system will be able to grant the necessary permits, licenses, and approval for the release of merchandise. When approval is given, the trader receives a notification and can then proceed to collect or send off goods. The introduction of an ESW will reduce the cost and time it takes to import and export goods, creating a more enabling environment for local entrepreneurs and foreign investors.
Where we can develop and implement a system where all the transactions can take place through a particular port or point or window in this instance, it makes doing business easier. By extension, therefore, it is expected that the interest in conducting business will be improved, will be increased, and investors will see Jamaica as an even more attractive investor destination. On the other side, it also will aid in the collection of revenue, where we can have a greater throughput of trade and of activity, which by extension generates even much more in terms of the economy.
Implementation of the ESW began in August 2018, and the timeline for completion is 36 months. Over 20 border and regulatory government agencies will connect to the platform. The entity responsible for collecting revenue from trade, the Jamaica Customs Agency, is the lead implementing agency.
The electronic single window system will be fully integrated, of course, with the Ascuda World system. They're both built on the Ascuda World platform. That information will be passed seamlessly from the electronic single window into the customs management system. And that, of course, reduces time and complexity, having a single point of contact and simplification of information. So that transparent environment, having that electronic track and trace, and of course, ensuring that persons are carrying out their functions within the agreed time frame.
The ESW is projected to reduce the number of entities a trader comes in contact with from as much as 5 to 1. In the future, this is how a trader could be making arrangements for the clearance of goods. The Jamaica Electronic Single Window, facilitating efficiency in trade, contributing to a robust business environment, a part of the framework for making it easier to do business with Jamaica.
While we're facilitating better trading spaces and improved public sector services, we're also thinking about your everyday mobility needs. Through the continuous development and upgrading of the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, JUTC, our government is creating a public transportation system that is accommodating of all Jamaicans.
From the fingers of political activist Helen Keller came this oft-repeated statement: the worst thing is to be born sighted but lack vision. Among our people are many whose sight is impaired, making it more challenging to navigate the roads of our ever-changing national space. Over a decade ago, the state-owned bus company had the vision to recognize their need for a public transport system that is accommodating of all Jamaicans.
I lose my sight. It's going from 89 to totally blind. 2004. 89 when I check my sight. 5% in the left eye and 95 in the right eye. Everything goes 2004. Well, 2004, I was fretting on it. I hear about Society for the Blind and Mrs. Wallace, who do the training, who train us to take the bus. Train us to go to transport center, walk on the road, walk between light posts, walk on the sidewalk. I prefer to take the JUTC. When I take the bus to the transport center, boy, the customer service is very nice. They ask you where you're going and then take you downstairs or upstairs and then put you on a seat to sit down. Sometimes they wait on you till the bus comes and put you inside the bus and tell the driver, where to let you off.
Since 2005, the JUTC began offering a disabled service, and we did so recognizing that there are other forms of transportation service or operators who do not provide a similar service to members of the disabled community. We recognize that they're an important part of the traveling community, and it is in fact incumbent on us, being a government-run entity, to provide such a service for those who may not otherwise be able to access private transportation services. Over the course of that period, we have also imported several units, several specially designed buses for persons with varying degrees of disability. We have a cadre of customer service representatives who have been introduced to a wide range of customer service related responsibilities and functions. In fact, 10 to 12 of them who are rostered weekly to provide critical care to members of the disabled community. Our customer service agents take them to and from the buses, and of course anywhere within the location of the Halfway Tree Transport Center. They also provide sanitary support for them.
I lost my sight last year, February. Taking the transport, sometimes I'm feeling excited. Sometimes, not all times. Because taking the transport, I can miss my steps. When crossing the road, sometimes I'm feeling down. Nervous, like, can't wait to get over it. I can cross in the road, anything can hit me. So those things will run in my intention. Yeah, and hole can be there. And even though the cane will drop in the hole sometime, you can still do wrong things and drop same way. So them something always come up in my thought at all times. Crossing the road, taking the vehicle. And sometimes tears come on my eyes because the way how the person react, people will see me. Some of them will say, you're not blind. And you act like you're blind because your eyes don't look like you're blind.
Part of the training involves engaging the Disabilities Foundation to see how it is that we ought to care for members of the disabled community. So for example, there is in fact a particular standard and protocol in which persons who are blind, for example, ought to be carried around.
One day I was at the bus stop. I took a bus 46 from downtown, and I asked tell the driver, I said, I'm going at Union Square Jug Serve. And it was a woman driver, and believe you me, when the lady reached Jug Serve, she stopped the bus on the left side there and come out of the driver's seat and take me across the road right to the Jug Serve. I was so pleased, man. You have some nice driver.
The visually impaired individual is firstly someone with basic human rights, those shared by every other Jamaican. And while a disability-friendly transport system may not be on the list of basic human rights, as the JUTC recognizes, it is a critical part of ensuring that Jamaica is truly a place where everyone of every ability can live, work, raise families, and do business.
As much as we've outlined today, it's still not nearly enough to capture the myriad of work that's happening here in Jamaica. And to be quite fair, 30 minutes isn't enough either. But I'm going to take just a little bit more time to share some other developments with you. Here goes. $1.54 billion reserved for cybersecurity initiatives. This year, our government has set aside that much money to improve cybersecurity initiatives and purchase telecommunications equipment for the Jamaica Defense Force and the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Number 2, a $1 billion multi-resort development in St. Ann. Our Prime Minister and the Tourism Minister broke ground for a multi-resort development called Sugarcane Bay Jamaica in Landover, St. Ann. The landmark investment will create 10,000 new permanent jobs, attract approximately 375,000 visitors annually, and generate $850 million yearly into the economy. And number 3, $276 million for community development projects. This fiscal year, government is embarking on an initiative to enhance access to basic urban infrastructure and services and to support increased community safety in selected economically vulnerable areas. Activities to be undertaken include providing 162 households with improved access to water sources, providing 2,644 households with access to improved sanitation, providing 997 households with alternative fencing, and completing the rehabilitation of approximately 24 kilometers of roadways and 9 schools. It's happening, but we're encouraging you that wherever you can make the process smoother, easier, and faster, just lend a helping hand. No? We're truly on our way to making Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and yes, do business. This is where today's program ends, but share something you learned today with someone. The story does not have to end here. You can also share stories from our previous shows by going on to our YouTube channel and by visiting the JIS website. That's at www.jis.gov.jm. Also, visit our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages. And on behalf of the entire production team here at the JIS, I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching, and do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Creating change, building a future, caring hands, giving back, touching hearts, and shaping lives. Impacting our world for the better.
You're watching Business Access TV. Business Access TV.
Business Access
TV.
Serious about business.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange Best Practices Awards was established in 2004 to emphasize best practices within businesses. We're here at the Jamaica Pegasus celebrating with some of these organizations. I am Tamar McHale with Business Access TV. Stay tuned for more. It's cocktail hour, and that of course means mingling. Let's catch up with some of the guests at the Jamaica Stock Exchange Best Practices Awards ceremony. And it's always a pleasure catching up with Mrs. Marlene Street Forrest, Managing Director of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Pleasure to have you with us on Business Access TV.
Always a pleasure too.
All right, so why is it important to have a Best Practices Award?
It is important because companies can be benchmarked against good practices or excellent practices. And after they do that, they also can benefit from being recognized by their peers and by the Jamaica Stock Exchange in respect to a job well done.
I'm now joined by Mr. Neva Ying, Committee Chair of the Jamaica Stock Exchange Best Practices Awards. It's a pleasure to have you joining with us.
A pleasure again with Business Access TV.
What are some of the things that you are looking for in these businesses to select those which have the best practices?
Well, as the committee name suggests, we're looking for international best practices in different categories. So look at things like their annual reports, we'll look at their websites, we'll look at how well they relate with their customers, and we look at, in some cases, how much business they bring to the stock exchange in terms of number of companies listed. companies take it very serious. So the rivalry is very keen, and they value it a lot, because if you look after the awards in terms of advertisements and how they use it to brand their companies, you'll see that they place a great deal of importance on how they place in these competitions.
Any changes tonight, any changes moving forward for the JSC Best Practices Award?
Well, every year we have something new that we add. So, for instance, next year we'll be taking a closer look at the website, because, you know, as technology changes, the websites are performing a different role from before. I mean, a lot of people are now into using the internet to get information. So whereas in the past you'd be reading documents, hard copies, now you're going to the internet for information. So companies have to respond to that. So we'll be taking a close look at that. We'll be looking at things like the attention they pay to risk management, which is very important in this era, because, you know, it's very tricky running a business now. And so the people who survive are those who are willing to take risk, and then they eventually make profits.
Well, I understand that the competition is stiff this evening, among the companies. What do you think has caused this stiff competition?
Well, everybody wants to be recognized by the best performing stock exchange in the world. I mean, the fact is that competition is always good, and nobody wants to be second. So, hence, everybody strives to be number one with regards to what the stock exchange has put out as the criteria for being best performing in whatever category they are looking at.
Okay, and moving forward, what changes is the stock exchange making to be even bigger and better?
Well, we recently transitioned to the NASDAQ transactional platform, which is world renowned, and that should augur well for the improvement in our efficiencies at the exchange. That's one thing. And we're also looking at other initiatives out of Canada, which will allow us to have knowledge transfer, technology transfer from the Canadian Stock Exchange, which will make the stock exchange actually, if there's something better than number one, we probably gonna get it.
Amazing. Well, congratulations. Keep up the good work.
Okay, thank you very much.
So the beautiful Dr. Nsombe Jaja is a member of the Jamaica Stock Exchange Best Practices Award Committee. It is a pleasure to have you joining us with Business Access TV. Tell us, how do you think this award has really raised the bar in terms of what is expected from companies?
I've been a member of the committee for over 10 years now, and I am amazed to see the difference year by year and the improvements that have taken place in the companies. Their level of reporting in their annual reports, much more engaging, much crisper, easier to read, better quality information, and you can actually see it in other areas that are assessed, like the website, governance committee, best performing companies, and the criteria that we look at for those organizations. A couple of areas that I'm really very glad to see the improvement in is risk management, environmental management, human resources management, and corporate social responsibilities. I'm really very pleased to see how much attention the organizations are paying in those areas, and it's just raising the bar and upping the games of the organizations that participate. So congratulations, those of you who are winners this year, and those of you who have not yet won, keep on raising the standard so that you'll be a winner.
So tonight, Best Practices Award of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. What do you think of this award ceremony? How important do you think it is?
It's very important. It's the 15th year, so it's a big night, and we're very happy for the Jamaica Stock Exchange. And for us, we always see it as something that gives us an opportunity to pause, not only as listed companies, which JMMB is, but as member dealers, brokers, which we are also, to just celebrate and acknowledge each other. The stock exchange has been doing amazing. They have ended another year being the top performing stock exchange in the world, and that's nothing to scoff at. So we're very happy to be here to celebrate this night.
Okay, so what has JMMB been doing to improve on their best practices to be among the top world-class, Jamaica Stock Exchange, as you just mentioned?
Well, lots of stuff. My head of compliance always has us on our toes, so we're always looking at, what do we need to do to be better. So starting with the information that we put out there, we have an active research team that makes sure that timely and accurate information hits the market in terms of our disclosure practices, how timely they are, how frequently they happen, and again, what kind of information do we put out there. It's all part of the whole ecosystem of, again, being a listed company. Yes, there's that aspect of the disclosure, but how are we supporting the investing public as a broker by helping them to make wise investment decisions, again, through the information that we put out there about the other listed companies also. So we're very busy, but we're excited, and, we lose our draw. We're just happy to be a part of this event as we have been for the last 15 years.
Okay, thank you very much and all the best tonight.
Thanks, Tamara. Appreciate it.
I'm now joined by Mr. Zachary Harding, Group Chief Executive Officer of the Stocks and Securities Limited, SSL. Tell us, what are some of the best practices that your company has implemented, has been emphasizing?
Sure. So the main thing that we're focusing on is customer service. Obviously, we have no business if we have no customers. So nothing matters what products we have, what other special things we're doing. Doesn't matter unless we can serve our customers in an appropriate way. So a lot of training has gone in to making sure that the team is at a level where they can understand all of the products and services that we have and be able to answer all the questions that our investors and clients will have. So the main focus is just on people.
So just as we're about to wrap up this cocktail hour, I'm joined by Ms. Greta Bogues, and she is one of the committee members of the Jamaica Stock Exchange Best Practices Awards. A pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you very much. Delighted to be here.
Okay, so tell us about the awards process for the corporate governance aspect, because I understand that that's the area that you're in charge of.
Thank you very much. Yes, I actually chair the corporate governance committee for the awards, and it's a very, very, very interesting process because, as you know, this particular process is a volunteer. So we don't actually, or companies I say, they have to submit applications, and then we go through a process to evaluate what they have submitted. So they have a questionnaire that they need to complete, and then they submit that with a lot of their governance documents. We look also at the annual report, and we also look at the website, because our objective is to ensure that the spirit of corporate governance is being practiced in the organization, and also very important that they're complying with the regulations and legislation as stipulated by the stock exchange rules.
Okay. And my final question, because as we award this evening those who are the top of the top, what advice would you give to those who you feel they need to make some improvements?
Well, I think that we've come a very far way in these best practice awards. And one thing that research has shown actually is that the more we actually have these awards where we recognize peers, the more persons become very interested in being a part of it. And as actually I find the environment very competitive. I find the listed companies very competitive. But one thing I would say to all listed companies, make sure you abide by the rules. The rules are very stated clearly in the rule book, but more importantly, what shareholders, stakeholders are asking for is disclosure and transparency. And therefore, if you can do that, that's the start of the journey to be in the top for the Best Practice Awards.
This wraps up the cocktail segment of the Jamaica Stock Exchange Best Practices Award. But the show has only begun. When we return, we head to the main stage.
Management Accounting Services. Keeping track of business performance is the key to driving future business performance. Having sound, up-to-date, and regular financial reports will ensure you are making well-informed business decisions in relation to matters such as capital expenditure, cost reductions, where future sales growth needs monitoring or driving, under or well-performing staff, or when is the right time to take on new staff. Dodge & Global can help you to prepare interim financial reports and therefore better advise you as to your future tax payments to prevent any surprises at year-end and to smooth out your tax obligations, saving you money. We will have discussions with you regarding the results of these reports and make sure you are aware of any pitfalls or areas that need your attention on a more regular basis. Our team can help you make smarter, more effective decisions. Let's have a conversation. Contact us at email info@dodgen.global, website https://dodgen.global.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the JSE Best Practices Awards 2018. I am Dr. Terry Carell-Reid. It is a pleasure to serve as your MC for this evening. In about June, I had the pleasure of chairing the 50th Anniversary Awards here at the Jamaica Pegasus. And I had the opportunity of saying that it was quite an honor for a number of reasons. Number one, I transitioned from being a saver to an investor. And I did it because of a very good friend of mine, my broker, Ryan Strawn, who I think is here today. Very handsome gentleman. And he came and he took me out of my wicked ways and he said, Terry, let us make you some money. So I was a conservative investor and he held my hand and he took me through. And now Ryan sends me WhatsApp messages saying, Terry, send on 500,000. We're going to buy some stock. I'm to get that money to you, Ryan. Good to see you. So I am the first person to actually start investing in my family, but it didn't stop there. My daughter turned 7 March the 1st, and I decided to open up a portfolio for her, and again, Ryan helped me with that, just because I want it to be something that is generational in terms of financial literacy. But then it was an honor because I remember Bloomberg had stated really early in the year, from January, I think, that the Jamaica Stock Exchange was the best, the world's best performing stock exchange. So in June, I remember saying at the 50th Anniversary Awards that was rich, real rich. Now, in this last quarter, I happen to follow the Jamaica Stock Exchange on Instagram, and if you're not following them, you need to. I think it's one of the coolest accounts you could follow. I'm seeing the Canadian Securities Exchange. I see Marlene Street-Forrest and her team. They're in Canada. They're on the New York Stock Exchange. They're ringing the bell over here. They're ringing the bell over there. She's on Bloomberg TV. And I said, but I can't say it's rich. This is what we call opulent. Opulent. Seeing the Jamaican flag flown high at the New York Stock Exchange. I don't know if you saw the images. I couldn't have been prouder. And then most recently, I believe it was the NASDAQ tower that again said, congratulations, JSE. The JSE Go Live is there, and you guys are doing such big things. So again, I am here, I am standing here as a proud investor. I'm standing here as a very proud Jamaican to be your MC for this evening. I recognize this lady as a superstar because that is who she is. She is an absolute leader, and we've had the privilege of seeing her and her team do a tour. She always speaks so highly of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, of our businesses, our brokers, and the entire ecosystem. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the Managing Director of JSE, Mrs. Marlene Street-Forrest.
Tonight is priceless. And so it is really an honor and indeed a privilege to welcome you to this, our 15th Best Practices Awards ceremony. We are more excited about this evening than in the prior years, as unlike the others, this year we celebrate a momentous occasion. 15 years of unshakable dedication of all our stakeholders to the vision and purpose of these awards. Traditionally, 15th anniversaries are marked by crystals or watches. These gifts signify that this anniversary means that we have a better understanding of our purpose, and though time has passed, there's every intention that the clock will continue to tick for another 15 years. I'm sure you'll forgive me, though, if I make a slight segue and shine the spotlight on the JSE itself, which is marking its 50th year. I firstly want to give thanks for the enormous international exposure we have received throughout the year. Some of the accolades with which we were showered include being named the best performing exchange for 2018, coinciding with the period under which these awards are adjudged. We were also named top performing exchange in number 5, continuing in 2019, and we will see where the year will end. In Europe, we were bestowed with the honor of the European CEO Awards for the most innovative exchange for 2019. During the year, we were overwhelmed with gratitude, particularly by the fire lit by Jamaica diasporans who have been encouraged to invest in our market. This ignited a real desire by external markets and people everywhere to learn a bit more about Jamaica, not only the Jamaica Stock Exchange, but Jamaica. No doubt that this makes best practices even more critical. The world's financial community must see us as leading the charge for best practices in and good governance of our companies. There is a weight on every company here this evening to ensure that there is best practice in its organization and good governance, because the world is looking. This year, too, there was phenomenal and record attendance, over 2,000 persons at our National Investor Education Week open house, where the focus again was investing in companies. I'm doing a little promotion here as well, because on the regional conference in 2020, our focus again will be on market development and sustainability of companies. Now, as we mark this significant occasion of our 15th JSE Best Practices Awards, we feel sure that we have etched in the minds of our stakeholders that these awards are important and that they are coming from a long time before best practices was a popular thing to work towards and even talk about. We believe that the JSE Best Practices Awards push companies to embrace high standards and encourage them to apply these standards across their organization. We expect among these things, best practices will improve workplace skills, reduce waste, and foster greater efficiency in the use of technology. As you know, the Jamaica Stock Exchange is big on technology. We have gone to NASDAQ, and next year you will be seeing us reaching out to companies more in terms of utilizing the system. Best practices, however, are ever evolving, and so will continue to be relevant, just like these awards. They are meant to light the way and help keep us focused on the important objectives of giving of our best in critical areas of business, which have been so judged and for which we are eagerly anticipating this evening. As we continue to promote the importance of companies upholding the best practices within their organizations, tonight's event is simply a way of saying that we recognize that your companies have been doing it right. Tonight represents an avenue where your colleagues and competitors can share that you are being recognized for your excellence and your quest for perfection. We recognize that emphasis on best practices change, and we must change with them. So, in terms of the JSC and the committees, we must take a closer look at the impact of, and also of the companies, impact of social sectors, and we are asking our companies to look at things like climate change, cybercrime, and issues of diversity in the workplace. As we become more global players, these are key components of the best-in-class companies. We are assured that as our committee prepares for the next 15 years, that we will not be left behind, but we will remain just as relevant as we are when we started 15 years ago. To our listed companies and member dealers, we want to say thanks again for making a market of which we can all be proud as our position, the best performing exchange in the world, to a large extent, is as a result of your work. Your performance allows the exchange to speak confidently on the world stage of your commitment to your organization and these awards. Once again, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to this awards ceremony. We have much to be thankful for. You honor your peers and us with your presence and the support of our efforts, and for this, we are truly thankful. As I close, I want to briefly reflect on the historic moment when we raised the Jamaican flag at the New York Stock Exchange and promoted Jamaica through the Bloomberg Channel earlier this year. We would like you to help us to keep that flag flying. Welcome, everyone.
At this time, I'd like you to kindly direct your attention to the screens as we learn more about the Best Practices Awards.
The Best Practices Awards was established in 2004 to bring an emphasis on what is good practices in organizations. It was also established to ensure that there was a dialogue between the companies and their stakeholders. We also wanted to ensure that we had a dialogue with companies that are listed on the exchange. There are 6 categories of awards. These are Best Practices Awards in corporate disclosure and investor relations, best practices in website, annual report, best performing company, and also the coveted award, which is the Governor General's Award. We also have the Best Practices Award in relation to member dealers. It has been an exciting period for the last 15 years because what has happened is that companies are excited in terms of vying with each other for these awards, getting the coveted awards that happen each year. And what we have found is that because of these awards, companies have now continued to do of their best, benchmarking to international standards, and the level of activity and communication has grown over the years. We also have people who are committed to judging these awards. These are independent persons who have given up their time. So we have persons drawn from the universities, we have persons drawn from corporate Jamaica, and also those whose skill sets are best used in the areas in the different categories. The overall objective of the award is to ensure that our companies move from one stage of their operation to another. Best practices will percolate throughout the entire company, ensuring that companies grow and to allow for sustainability. And sustainability is important to growth and development.
We take our first break from our coverage of the Jamaica Stock Exchange Best Practices Awards. This is Business Access TV. Keep watching.
The Good Life, your weekly dose of information on nutrition, wellness, and fitness. Discover ways to nurture your mind, body, and spirit.
This is Caroline Smith, marketing implementer for Sol Western Caribbean for Shell Lubricants, and you're watching Business Access TV, and they are serious about business.
Again, I'm going to ask you to kindly turn your attention to the screens as we hear from Professor Neville Ying, Chairman of the Best Practices Committee.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2018 was a fantastic year for the Jamaica Stock Exchange, and by extension, all listed companies and brokerage houses. At the end of 2018 and on the cusp of 2019, when the Jamaica Stock Exchange celebrates its 50th anniversary, the Stock Exchange was cited by Bloomberg as the #1 best performing stock exchange in the world. We're all excited and pleased about this result and this ranking because it shows that best practices are paying handsome dividends. Our companies have embraced best practices and as a result are doing well. And when our companies do well, the stock exchange does well. We have seen what profits have done for investor confidence. We now need to give equal focus to the people dimension of sustainable development. We at the Jamaica Stock Exchange have committed to do something about this. We were therefore very pleased in January 2019 when the Prime Minister, the Most Honourable Andrew Holness, launched a bold initiative of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, which is the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange. The Jamaica Stock Exchange is putting to use through this initiative the value proposition that sustainable growth of the social sector is good for business. The projects the Jamaica Stock Exchange has selected to start this new venture are as follows. The Deaf Can Coffee Project. This project focuses on training and employment for the deaf persons. Choose Life International Project, which is seeking to reduce the sharp rise in the incidence of suicides in our society. Jamming Music Studio Project, which focuses on music and the profession of music to create an alternative pathway to crime and violence. Spring Praise Jamaica Project, which seeks to reverse the antisocial behavior of young people and encourage children to start saving early. Alpha School of Music Project, which focuses on redirecting young men through music and spiritual and remedial education. The game plan is to provide these projects with financial and technical assistance to enable them to grow into financially self-sufficient social business enterprises. We invite you to partner with the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange, that together Jamaica can establish a new international benchmark, which is the balancing of social and economic development. Let me return to the Best Practices Awards. Ladies and gentlemen, we have seen marked improvement in all the areas that we have assessed. And we would like to take the opportunity to thank all the companies for the hard work that they have done and in so doing, embracing international best practices. I want to pause at this point to offer heartiest congratulations to Mrs. Marlene Street Forrest for the important leadership that she has been given to the Jamaica Stock Exchange. The crowning moment for me was when she appeared on Bloomberg TV to speak about the Jamaica Stock Exchange. She represented our country very well, and we are proud of her, and she should take a bow for this. Finally, and very important, I would like to thank members of the Best Practices Awards Committee for their professional, technical, and dedicated services. We are grateful and give profound thanks to the team at the Jamaica Stock Exchange, who remains behind the scene, but whose contributions are invaluable and indispensable in allowing our work to flow smoothly. Please enjoy our celebration of excellent performance this evening.
Now, these are gifts for the committee members. We just like to say thank you so very much for your dedicated service. So let us hear it from Miss Greta Bogues, Mrs. Lisa Bell, Dr. Nsombe Jaja, Mrs. Alicia Hussey, Mrs. Marlene Street Forest, Dr. Janice Simmons Fisher as well. The next person is Miss Roxanne Miller. Let us hear it from Mrs. Antoinette McCain, Miss Andrea Kelly, Miss Gabrielle Grant. These were the ladies on the committee, and we thank the chairman of the Stock Exchange, Mr. Ian McNaughton, for being our presenter. We now welcome Mrs. Marlene Street Forest, Managing Director of the JSE, to be the presenter or to present the tokens to the gentlemen who served on the committee. Now let us hear it for the man with the very deep voice, Professor Neville Ying. And following Professor Neville Ying is Mr. Errol Anderson. And he'll be followed by Mr. Christopher Povell. Let us say hello to Mr. Ricardo Allen. Let us hear it from Mr. Alvaro Casterly. Thank you for your service, sir. Mr. David Hall, Mr. Nigel Koch, Dr. Andre Horton. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Michael Johnson. Last but not least, Dr. William Lawrence.
If you're just joining us, you would have missed the presentation of awards to committee members, but no need to worry, as you are just in time for the presentation of the Jamaica Stock Exchange Best Practices Awards.
Coming up on Point this week, we're talking coronavirus.
How will it affect tourism? How will it affect the shipping industry, business, commerce? We're talking about it right here on Point this Thursday on Business Access TV and on YouTube. Tune in.
You guys are troublemakers on this side. How are we? We're fabulous? Have we had, excuse me? I just threw this thing on. So here's the thing. I take extreme pride in finding an outfit that that aligns with the brand colors of the particular event. So the first dress had the blue and the black, because blue is the Jamaica Stock Exchange color and the black is the wording, Jamaica Stock Exchange. But then I said, you know what? I've never done this before. In fact, I only change my outfits if it's a TV show and it's like a grand finale. So this is actually the very first time I'm doing a wardrobe change, and I'm calling it the Jamaica Stock Exchange. To my co-host, I hope you're ready. So we are getting into the announcement of awards, and it is an honor to welcome my co-host for this evening. Please put your hands together for Mr. Ricardo Allen, CEO of One-on-One and member of the Best Practices Committee. How you doing?
Thank you so much.
It's good to see you.
Dr. Terry Carell Reed.
It's a pleasure. You're looking sharp.
Thank you so much.
Good. All right. So we are getting ready. Best Practices Awards 2018 Member Dealers Award. We will begin by recognizing the member dealers. The member dealers are given awards in several categories. The first category is in revenue generation and market activity. In this category, the JSE will recognize member dealers that, one, during the year, traded the most value on the exchange, and two, participated in JSE's programs. I would like to invite Senator Dr. Andre Horton, Senior Lecturer at UA, to present the first award. And the winner in this category is NCB Capital Markets Limited. Congratulations to NCB Capital Markets Limited.
And our next award goes to Investor Relations Stock Brokerage. This award recognizes the member dealer that consistently exceeds customer expectation by providing excellent customer service. I'd like to invite Mrs. Street Forest just to join us on stage to present this award. Give her a round of applause for me, guys. We'll first announce the second runner-up, JMB Securities Limited. Congratulations, JMB. Our first runner-up for this year's Investor Relations Stock Brokerage Award goes to Sagicor Investment Jamaica Limited. To our winner of the Investor Relations Stock Brokerage Award, I'll now invite, am I getting my drum roll? Jane Fund Managers, congratulations.
The next presentation is the JSE Member Dealers Award for Best Website. This award is given to encourage member dealers to raise the quality and efficiency of the dissemination of information to the investing public via the website. To present these awards, I call on former customers of St. Andrew, Mrs. Marigold Harding. Please make her welcome. Second runner-up. Actually, it's a tie. The second runners-up are Sagicor Investment Limited and JMB Securities Limited. We invite Sagicor Investments Limited to collect the award. I see the beautiful Alicia. Congratulations. This is in the category of Best Website. And this is JMB Securities Limited. The beautiful Carrie-Ann Stimson. Oh, that's a fabulous dress. In the category of Best Website is Victoria Mutual Wealth Management Limited. And the winner for the JSE Member Dealers Award for Best Website is Barita Investments Limited for the second year running. Congratulations for the second year running. Congratulations to the runners-up as well as the winner. Good job. Thank you so very much, Mrs. Harding.
Now on to our next award. Our next category will be awarded for expansion of investors and listed companies base. This award recognizes member dealer that has increased the number of clients in the JCSD and listed the most companies in 2018. To present these awards, I invite Mr. Nigel Coke to join me on stage, Chairman of the Member Dealers Committee. Just give him a round of applause while he comes up. So for this category, we have a second runner-up. The second runner-up for the expansion of investors and listed companies base is NCB Cap Market. Congrats, Steve and team. Now on to our winners. And for this category, we have joint winners, right? They did so well, we could not separate them. The winners for the expansion of investors and listed company base are JMB and Sagicor Investment Limited.
Congratulations. The Jamaica Stock Exchange's member dealers overall winner is the Chairman's Award. To present this award, we call on the chairman of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, Mr. Ian McNaughton, to present the Chairman's Award for the top member dealer. Please make him welcome. The Chairman's Award for the top member dealer goes to he did it twice because we do have joint winners. Sagicor Investments Jamaica Limited, XTB Capital Market.
Now, we're about to shift gears a bit. We're going to move on to our Best Practices Award for 2018. Now, this award is given to encourage publicly listed companies to produce clearer, more reader-friendly annual reports that provide greater insight into the company's financial affairs, governance practices, and business activities. To present the award for Best Annual Report, I now invite Mr. Casserly to join us on stage. Now, we had some really good annual reports this year. If I can say so myself, being a part of the committee, and I must tell you that these companies that are selected here would have been winners, yes, but it doesn't say the others weren't great. All of them, we got some really good ones. So, you know, we've lifted the standards, and I want to say congratulations just about to everyone, all right? Very good job. Now, our second runner-up for this category goes to Lasco Manufacturing Limited. Now, our first runner-up for this category goes to Lasco Distributors Limited. So we've had Lasco Manufacturing, Lasco Distributors. Any guess who the winners are? Drum roll for me. Caribbean Producers Jamaica Limited. Now that we've gotten the Junior Market Awards for Best Annual Reports out of the way, let's move on to the main market. Now for this market, we had a joint second runner-up. We have two persons, actually, two companies being represented here. Drum roll. Jamaica Producers Limited and NCB Financial Group. Congratulations. For our winners, for the best annual report among companies listed on the main market, I now present, drum roll, Grace Kennedy Limited. Congratulations, Don and team, on this award.
Congratulations to the awardees so far at the Jamaica Stock Exchange Best Practices Awards ceremony. But stay tuned, more winners to be announced when we return.
In this 1 degree, you're able to do many things.
I think the field found me.
I'd rather work with the deceased than work with the living.
Let us open your mind to careers you've never considered.
Miniature model maker.
Game technician.
Animator.
Good job. Empowerment.
Career moves.
Anywhere money is, that's where I am.
The next category is the best performing company. This award seeks to identify and recognize outstanding performance by listed companies in enhancing shareholder value in the areas of capital efficiency, profitability, and direct return on shareholdings. To present these awards, I call on Dr. Ensombe Jaja, member of the Best Performing Company Committee, to present these awards. Please make her welcome. The first category of awards will be made to the junior market companies, followed by the main market companies. So we start with the junior market. The first runner-up is The Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances Limited. And the winner is Cargo Handlers Limited. So we now enter the main market awards. First runner-up is Salado Foods Jamaica Limited. Congratulations to Salado Foods. This is for the main market awards in the category Best Performing Company, looking at areas of capital efficiency, profitability, and direct return on share holdings. And now it's time to find out who our winner is in the main market. The winner is Carreras Limited.
Now on to our next award. Next up is the Corporate Disclosure and Investor Relations Award. Now this award serves to recognize companies that maintain good investor relations with the wider investing public and make timely and accurate reports and announcements available to the JSE. For this award, we have our second runner-up. The second runner-up for Corporate Disclosure and Investor Relations goes to Paramount Trading Jamaica Limited. The first runner-up for this award goes to Lasco Financial Services Limited. For the Corporate Disclosure and Investor Relations Award goes to Onibun, second year winning. For the main market, we have our second runner-ups going to Grace Kennedy Limited.
Steve, how are you doing?
Terry, I think your dress making me nervous.
Don't blame me. Don't listen. Leave me out of it. Leave me out of it. Congratulations, Grace Kennedy Limited. Ryan, I see you. Ryan Boo, I see you. Back to Steve.
The first runner-up for Corporate Disclosure and Investor Relations goes to NCB Financial Group. In the Corporate Disclosure and Investor Relations Awards, JMB Group.
Next presentation, Best Practices website. This award seeks to encourage listed companies to raise the quality and efficiency of the dissemination of information to the investing public via their website. To present these awards, I call on Professor Neville Ying, Chairman, Best Practices Committee, to present these awards. Second runner-up is Lasco Financial Services Limited. First runner-up, Junior Market, is Caribbean Producers Jamaica Limited, CPJ. Who will be the winner in Junior Market? And the winner is Lasco Manufacturing Limited. Second runner-up is NCB Financial Group Limited. The first runner-up is Barita Investments Limited. Congratulations. And the winner in the main market subcategory is Mayberry Investments Limited. Congratulations, Mayberry.
Our next award will be for PSOJ JC Corporate Governance. This award seeks to recognize companies that demonstrate and practice outstanding corporate governance. To present these awards, I call on Ms. Greta Bogues, the chairperson of the PSOJ JC Corporate Governance Committee, to present. And the winner for the PSOJ JC Corporate Governance Award goes to Onibon. Now, on to our main market. For the second runner-up, first time being awarded tonight. I wonder who it is. Scotia Group Jamaica Limited. To our first runner-up for Corporate Governance Award, we now invite, drum roll, the Grace Kennedy Limited. Congrats, Grace. And for the winner of the PSOJ JC Corporate Governance Award, we invite the NCB Financial Group.
And now for the moment you have all been waiting for. The Governor General Award for Excellence will be presented by Mrs. Marlene Street Forrest. In the Junior Market category, JSC's Junior Market Best Practices Award overall winner is Let's Go Manufacturing Jamaica Limited! JSE's Junior Market Best Practices Award, the Governor General Award for Excellence, the main market. It is a tie between Grace Kennedy Limited and NCB Financial Group Limited. Congratulations to all the nominees, certainly all the awardees, all the winners. Without all of you, the Jamaica Stock Exchange would not be performing so well. So thank you for implementing best practices. Thank you so very much.
I started out selling out of the trunk of my car.
If everybody think the same way, everybody going in the same line.
Being an entrepreneur takes everything that you've got. Weekends? What's weekends? We work on a weekend.
There are real opportunities everywhere you look.
But you have to have the passion.
If I do my part well, then everything is okay.
We believed in ourselves and our families believed in us.
Being convinced of this great opportunity, why we are all here doing what we're doing now.
I'm Andrew Mathalon, CEO of Mathalon Distributors. You're watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
Grace Kennedy were major winners here tonight. Tell us what these awards are for.
Thank you very much. We won the award for the best annual report, which we are so happy with because we have been working so hard on our annual report to improve it to really world-class standard. So this is actually the first time that we have won the best annual report. And this is the big award here. This is the Governor General's Award, which is for the best company on the stock exchange, which we won jointly with the NCB. The last time we won this award was 2004. So that's 15 years ago. So tonight is a very special occasion, and I'm sure all the Grace Kennedy staff tomorrow are going to be so happy that we have worked so hard and we have been recognized by the Jamaica Stock Exchange.
That's really amazing. So what did Grace Kennedy do this time to make sure that they copped the top award tonight?
Well, we've just been focusing on great corporate governance. We've been focused on doing well as a company in terms of improving our profitability and revenue. You may have heard that we have set ourselves a target to have revenues of 100 billion by 2022, the first Jamaican company, and I can say to you, we are on track, if not ahead of track. We keep innovating. We want to be a global consumer group. We are in Canada, USA, Europe, UK. So we're just being very focused to our vision and trying to realize that vision by staying and working hard.
Okay, congratulations and keep up the fabulous work.
Thanks a lot, much appreciated.
So I'm here with the Mayberry investment team and boy, they are smiles all around. Congratulations. Tell us how you feel and what award did you get tonight?
Oh, thank you very much. We're feeling elated. We won for the main market best website for 2018.
Okay, so what did you do to get the best website?
Visit our website, www.mayberryinvestment.com.
All right. Any new developments for 2020?
Yeah, we are really excited in rolling out our new technologies on our new platform that we are currently working assiduously to get first to market with. Okay. So look out for it.
All right, congratulations. Thank you. Catching up with another awardee from tonight's event, and this is of course Barita Investments. Tell us what award you won tonight.
Well, tonight I'm holding here our award for the best member dealer website. We're very proud of this. And what's more amazing is that we've just upgraded our website to be even better. So we'll be back next year.
Here with Honeybun, and they are double awardees tonight. Congratulations. Tell us what the two awards are for.
This is for corporate investor relationship, and this one is for corporate governance.
And what did Honeybun do to come out as the winners in these categories tonight?
We're repeat winners, you know. We won the same awards last year.
So what have you been doing then to keep the success going?
We follow up, just keep on trying to do your best all the time and keep on following up with what we have done. And yeah, they keep coming.
So I'm here with Mr. Carreras, one of the big winners here tonight. Congratulations. Tell us what your award for.
Thank you very much. We won the best performing company in the main market. Yeah.
And what did you do to stand out to be the top winners in that category?
To be honest, I mean, Carreras is accustomed to winning this particular award. Last year we were the second runner-up, and the team said, listen, we need to go and reclaim our award. So what we did, we ensured that we looked at the right things, and we were able to deliver more to the shareholders and deliver some EPS growth, and we were rewarded handsomely for it. So we're back in the winning category, and we really feel good about that.
NCB, one of the big winners here tonight. I see you don't have your award because your team left with it, but tell us about some of the awards that you copped tonight.
Okay, so for NCB Capital Markets, we won an award for market generation, and we were joint overall winners in terms of member broker-dealer. And on the listed company side, we NCB Financial Group won quite a few awards, but they also won the Chairman's Award for Excellence. That's the overall main market award.
And so how do you feel about copying these awards?
Great. We did well last year, and we did well again this year. So it's a very proud feeling.
It has been quite an eventful evening. Congratulations to all the nominees, and special congratulations to the winners. This has been Business Access TV's coverage of the Jamaica Stock Exchange Best Practices Awards. I am Tamara McHale signing out for Business Access TV, serious about business.
Coming up on Point this week, we're talking coronavirus.
How will it affect tourism? How will it affect the shipping industry, business, commerce? We're talking about it right here on Point this Thursday on Business Access TV and on YouTube. Tune in.
Hello, Jamaicans. The new coronavirus, COVID-19, has spread to more than 60 countries, fueling widespread fear and anxiety as many consider the implications for themselves and for public health generally. Here in Jamaica, we understand that anxiety and wish to reassure the public that we are, even now, enhancing our readiness for the very real possibility of the virus coming to our shores, even while we make all efforts to prevent it from coming. Up to March 1, there were more than 87,000 confirmed cases of COVID-19 reported globally and close to 3,000 deaths. Among those countries impacted are 3 from within the Caribbean, namely the Dominican Republic, St. Bart's, and St. Martin. So far, Jamaica has had no cases of COVID-19. However, we can accept, given the rate of spread, which has been more than 30 new countries impacted in the last week alone, that Jamaica is not immune to COVID-19. We can also accept that it is not beyond our capacity to respond and to do so effectively in the public health interest. Such has been our history in the face of other global disease outbreaks, including H1N1, SARS, and Ebola. Against this background, Jamaica's assault on COVID-19, for which robust and ongoing public support is critical, is happening on two fronts. Actions to minimize the risk of exposure among the local population and actions to enhance the capacity of the public health system to manage patients in the event that we have cases here in Jamaica. On minimizing the exposure, we have, through collaboration with a wide cross-section of stakeholders from the public and private sectors, and through the adoption of a whole-of-government approach, imposed travel restrictions to include 5 countries, among them China, Italy, South Korea, Singapore, and Iran, discourage non-essential travel, patrolling unofficial border crossings, sensitize key personnel at all air and seaports, designated 4 quarantine facilities, and identified and retrofitted isolation facilities in each of the island's public hospitals. On our health system's readiness, we have developed the local capacity to test for the virus thanks to the training provided by the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, assess the readiness of our health facilities to meet the anticipated increase in demand on services, are addressing existing gaps, including with respect of additional supplies and equipment, though at the present time, we have enough protective equipment in the island for our health facilities. We also have adequate stores of respiratory medicine for the next 3 months. In addition, we have trained and continue to train healthcare providers. These efforts are supported by a communications campaign to keep each member of the population updated on the virus and its impacts. Oversight is provided by the multi-sectorial National Disaster Risk Management Council, led by the Most Honorable Prime Minister Andrew Holness, to which the Ministry of Health and Wellness will present a detailed response plan for approval. In the coming week, we will provide an update on the National Mobilization Plan to continue our risk prevention strategy or to treat with the possibility of the virus coming to Jamaica. Still, the success of our efforts depends on the extent to which stakeholders from the private and public sectors, and indeed every individual who calls Jamaica home, understands that they each have a role to play to preserve public health. This week, we will also appoint a national COVID-19 coordinating task force to monitor the implementation plan. We must therefore work together to maintain a high level of vigilance in our surveillance and response measures. It is also now more important than ever that each of us maintain a distance of at least 2 meters from persons who are coughing or sneezing, frequently perform hand hygiene by washing hands thoroughly with soap and water or using a hand sanitizer if hands are not visibly soiled, cover our mouths and noses with a tissue when coughing or sneezing and discarding it, and avoid touching our faces unnecessarily. Yes, COVID-19 is a disease that can cause death, but in the majority of cases, those affected by the virus survive. If we work together as a community, each of us doing our part, from prevention to care management, we can and will overcome this public health threat.
This is Solomon Sharp, CEO, Main Event Entertainment Group. You are watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
On this episode of Wealth Magazine Business Access, we feature Kirk Nugent, CEO of Kirk Nugent Unlimited. He shares his story of overcoming a childhood marred with depression and broken relationships by finding purpose and success in his passion for speaking. Kirk Nugent, an inspirational speaker, turned his life experiences and love for the spoken word into a thriving business by following several key principles one of which includes having a mentor.
No matter how great you are, if you want to take it to the next level, find yourself a coach, find yourself a mentor, because it will save you so much time, so much aggravation, and so much energy. Hi, I'm Kurt Nugent. I'm the CEO of Kurt Nugent Unlimited. The first major experience in my life at age 4, I was diagnosed with sickle cell anemia. So I would have these terrible sickle cell crises. I would miss sometimes months out of school, but I was always a brilliant child. I passed common entrance by, I think my second chance. I had 3 chances. So I passed common entrance at age 10 and a half, 11, something around there. My childhood inside the home, it wasn't the best. I think my parents didn't really know how to love, and they had a lot of wounds from their childhood that they didn't heal, and it was projected on us. I had 2 sisters, they were both older. We were all 2 years apart. My oldest sister, or the eldest, she was the favorite. So what that did to my self-esteem and my older sister's self-esteem is, it was one thing if we were aware that our parents weren't capable of loving, but it was obvious they were capable of loving. They could love one. So we kind of grew up feeling unwanted and unnecessary. If we wanted ice cream, but my older sister liked the chocolate flavor, my dad would only buy chocolate. So we saw the differences very quickly, where one sister would go to a private school, we went to public school. My older sister, she took the common entrance, she didn't pass, but my dad paid, she went to Ardennes. When my other sister didn't pass, she went to Marvelly, a secondary school. When I passed, I went to Woolmer, so it looked bad, we got to take this other one and put it in Ardennes as well. So it was that type of dynamics, but somewhere in the subconscious mind, you start getting this message that you're unworthy. You're not necessary. You're nothing more than a mere expense. So it erodes your self-esteem and robs you of having a feeling of greatness. At the time it was happening, I wasn't aware of it, but I grew up very depressed. I grew up very sickly, and I remember being as old as 9 or 10 years old. For dinner, I could barely eat half a finger of banana and a piece of chicken wing. I was depressed, but I wasn't aware of it. By the time I got to Woolmer's, I met some really great friends who helped me. I didn't get a lot of money for lunch, so a lot of days I was hungry. Now you had Mark Chisholm, he was the one that would share his lunch with me. You had another person, Omar Trowers, OT, that's on your Love FM. He would share his lunch with me. You have another person who is in prison right now, David Smith, with the Lynn scandal. We were all in the same class together. So these were people that, in my mind, had compassion. They know Lascelles, that's my first name, Lascelles, and I go by Kirk. I didn't like the name Lascelles because the kids would tease me and call me sickle cell Lascelles because I was so sickly. So these young boys had compassion, and so it made me feel like, wow, the world is not such an ugly place. So I think that led me to be drawn to motivation, inspiration. I came to America, I heard a speaker by the name of Les Brown, and he would talk, there's greatness within you. Now I had very low self-esteem. If you looked at me, I would immediately look at my shoe, because being that I had sickle cell, my liver was always toxic and my eyes were bright yellow. And I remember even attending Woolmer's. The teachers, they had no etiquette. You know, the teacher would say, you with the yellow eyes, come over here. So it just eradicated my self-esteem. I never felt good about myself. So when we migrated to America, I decided that I didn't want to I wasn't going to take the treatment I was getting in Jamaica. I could stand up for myself. So the family had a rough time transitioning. We had a lot of arguments, a lot of fights, and we became very divided, very dysfunctional. But something inside of me always yearned for something more. I wanted something better. I didn't want to be like a lot of Jamaicans who came to America back in the 1980s. I wanted my parents to be proud of me. I wanted to be somebody they could love. So it seems like subconsciously all my life I've been searching to be this person that my parent will one day be proud of. I am passionate about speaking, but I know nothing about the business. And once my speaking became a business, it stopped being fun, it stopped making money, because I didn't understand it. Les was the one who showed me, Kirk, you have to stay in your lane. You're a speaker. Outsource the business part.
I'm 36. I'm a husband, a manager, and still very good looking. In 2 hours, I have the most important meeting of my life. But first, it's time to play. The new Suzuki Vitara.
Coming up on Point this week, we're talking coronavirus.
How will it affect tourism? How will it affect the shipping industry, business, commerce? We're talking about it right here on Point this Thursday on Business Access TV and on YouTube. Tune in.
When we migrated to the United States, this was 1983. Now, let me paint a picture of what the United States was in 1983. One, crack was just being introduced into the market, and it was a big consumer item. So a lot of Jamaicans came and they got involved in the crack game, the drug game. The other thing is it was not popular to be Jamaican. Black Americans hated Jamaicans. They hated anybody from the islands. So another thing that was introduced to us in America is in Jamaica, if I had a fight in Wilmer's, the guy that I'm fighting will fight one-on-one. It doesn't matter if he had 1,000 of his friends there. If I start beating him up, his friends would break it up, but they would never jump in and fight me. In America, that wasn't the case. You have a fight with one person, all of a sudden you're fighting 8 or 9 people. So Jamaicans very quickly band together. I remember going around and finding every Jamaican in the school and say, if you get in a fight, come get me. As I evolve, I'm pretty much running with the wrong crowd. We being known as Jamaicans and Jamaicans are not to be messed with, it felt good because this is the first time in my life I'm having good self-esteem. I'm feeling good about myself. I can fight, I'm not afraid to fight, and people are afraid of me. So as you can see, I'm very much on the wrong path. And I never got involved in anything illegal. I always had a job. I was a good salesperson, always had a sales job. So I'm selling, I'm doing my thing, but after work, after school, I was still getting the fights. The turning point in my life that I alluded to earlier was I was dating a girl and she got pregnant. And when she got pregnant, it dawned on me that, Kirk, you cannot bring a child into this world walking down this path. You have to be a better person, not just for your son, but the mother of your child. And once I had my son, I realized that love was something that was just natural. And if you don't give love naturally, chances there's some place in your being that you're wounded and you haven't spent the time to heal. So it put me on a path where I just wanted to spread more love in the world. I didn't want to argue with people, but it didn't happen overnight. It took me a while to discover who I am and to discover that part of me. Like I said, I always read a lot. So I stopped hanging with the people that I hung with. I stopped going to the parties, and I started really reading a lot. Sometimes I was reading 2-3 books per week. And as I read, it drove my ambition to be something more. But what is it that I want to do? I couldn't tell. So I kept going from job to job to job because I'm searching for my passion. My parents didn't understand that I'm looking for my passion, so they dismissed, oh, the boy now have no ambition and can't hold a job. But I knew I was searching for something deeper. Once I found that my love was performing and being on stage, I went all in. I quit my job and I started performing. I started doing poetry. As luck would happen, an agent would be in the crowd and saw me, and they took me and put me on the college market, and I started speaking in colleges and universities. And as I did that, I started seeking out other mentors. Les Brown was a mentor of mine. So I saw Les Brown. I drove 22 hours, one from Indiana to Florida, to meet Les. And when I met Les put his hand out to shake my hand. I said, Mr. Brown, I drove 22 hours to meet you. I did not come here for a handshake. He said, what's your name, young man? I said, I'm Kurt Nugent. We started talking, and Les encouraged me to move from New Jersey, where I lived, to Florida, where he lived, so we could go on the road and speak, and he could groom me into the speaker that I eventually grew to be today.
This is your life. Your purpose on this earth is not to please me, nor is it to fulfill your parents' unrealized dreams. You were not placed here to make concessions so that they could be proud, so they could brag about their seed, fulfill some unfulfilled childhood emotional needs. No disrespect, but let everyone be proud of their very own deeds. This is your life. I came to shine light into the dark, and like a dog against a hydrant, I am leaving my mark. We were not sent here to investigate someone else's idea of what we should be. The complacent life does not stimulate me. So forgive me if I feel no compassion for those poor souls who live to follow the fashion. Because if you want to live a life that's neither limited nor ration, then by God you must pursue your passion. They will tell you that it can't be done, as though you were delivered unto this world for your song to go unsung. Let the world scream that unattainable theme, but for you, there is no such thing as impossible dream. Pursue your passion.
Of all the jobs that I had, I did a lot in sales. And the reason why I did a lot in sales is because sales is usually commission-based. So I didn't believe in the idea of you and I showing up, but I put in more effort and we get the same pay at the end of the week. With sales, commission, you get paid based on your effort. So I like commission sales. Once I started following mentors like Oprah Winfrey, and Oprah Winfrey always said, pursue your passion, find what's in your heart. I realized this sales thing is not really what's in my heart. What's in my heart is to speak and transform lives. So I didn't know how to go about doing that. I always wrote poetry, spoken word. So I took my spoken word and I put on t-shirts, and I started a line of clothing called Ironic Revolutionary Wear. As there became more black violence, police brutality, I went and met Reverend Al Sharpton in New York and started building his youth group because he liked the t-shirts I was putting out. But again, the t-shirts, I could only make money selling t-shirts on the streets or have a few in the clothing store. So that wasn't profitable enough. And I didn't enjoy selling t-shirts, I enjoyed speaking. I started going to poetry clubs, and they have a poetry cafe in New York called the Nuyorican Poetry Cafe, and you compete against other poets. If you could win the Nuyorican, you could win anywhere in the world. The average person takes about maybe 4 or 5 years of competing at Nuyorican to become the Nuyorican Grand Slam champion. I went to Nuyorican in November 1998. By June 1999, Kurt Nugent, 1999 Nuyorican Grand Slam champion. I won everything there was to win. So there was a buzz about me in New Jersey, New York, as far as my poetry was concerned. Now I started getting an invitation to speak in California, Oakland, Pennsylvania. I'm traveling all over. Agent saw me and got me on the college market. This guy was booking people for the college market. So back then in sales, I was making about $700, $800 per week. Now I'm on the college market, speaking, doing poetry, making $800 for the hour. So this felt really good. Within a year, the demand became so great for what I was doing that the 800 went to 12, to 14, to 16, to 2,000, to 2,500. 1 year, I'm making $2,500 per hour, just doing what I love. And I would go to these showcases to perform, and the showcases for representatives from various colleges, they would see you perform and say, oh, we would love to have you at our college. But the problem was they would see me perform and say, oh my God, the Negro, he's so talented, let's bring him in February. So I would get 30 dates for February and then no other date for the rest of the year, because they're just bringing you as a black entertainment act. So I had to figure out how can I get booked in March, April, May, and the other months. So I realized that they're booking speakers in those months, not poets. So I started positioning myself and say, I'm not a poet. I'm a speaker who happens to incorporate poetry. So that's how I went from poetry to speaking. So they asked me, well, what do you speak about? Well, what do you book speakers for? Well, we book speakers for leadership. I speak about leadership. So I would read books on leadership and write poems about leadership, and I'd go and do the speaking engagement. As I did that, I was always listening to Les Brown. Les Brown was always someone who inspired me. So I said, you know what? This is America. Anything is possible. I'm going to go find this Les Brown character. So the first time I sought to find Les Brown, he was in New York. I live in New Jersey. They're neighborhood states. And so I went to New York and couldn't find the place he was speaking. When I finally got there, they said, oh, Les is leaving. You can't speak to him. And I allowed the opportunity to slip through my fingers. I decided if I ever got that opportunity again, it would not slip through my fingers. About 6 years later, someone told me Les is speaking in Florida. The night before, I'm speaking in Indiana. It's about a 22-hour drive from Indiana to Florida. I got in my car and I drove all night. Met Les and I told him I would love to become a speaker. I believe that I'm very inspirational. I said, follow me and I'll show you what I can do, because I was very cocky as far as my speaking ability. So they put me on stage. I did a poem called I'm Here to Claim My Destiny, which was a Les Brown speech and a T.D. Jakes speech that I took, remixed it and made it my own. Les loved it, invited me to move to Florida, and we started touring and speaking together. I am passionate about speaking, but I know nothing about the business. And once my speaking became a business, it stopped being fun, it stopped making money, because I didn't understand it. Les was the one who showed me, Kirk, you have to stay in your lane. You're a speaker. Outsource the business part. Hire somebody to do this. Get an accountant, get an agent, and he showed me how to really make it into a business and make it work. Because again, I would say Les shaved about maybe 10, 15 years off my learning curve. Because if I had to learn all of that stuff that he taught me on my own, I would still be out here trying to fumbling around. So when he encouraged me to stay in my lane, that was great. I needed to learn that, and it helped me to drive my business forward. He also showed me how to put a speech together. Because before, I would just speak from my heart. But it's like, Kirk, there's a way, you could give me any topic and I could speak about it. And he showed me a formula that he used for his speech. And I realized by watching, oh, he has a formula. So I learned, again, body language, how to observe the audience. If I'm on stage and I'm speaking, and I realize that my audience is not leading in, they're not nodding when you're speaking, then it's time to change gear, change course. And there was just so much that he taught that you couldn't learn just watching speakers. You have to have that intimate relationship. So when it comes to a mentor, you can't put a price on that, because it can really cut a lot off your learning curve. And really, another thing that a mentor does, it introduces you to other insiders in the business and opens other doors that normally you could not open on your own. So no matter how great you are, if you want to take it to the next level, find yourself a coach, find yourself a mentor, because it will save you so much time, so much aggravation, and so much energy. So whatever you're doing to get to that next level, find someone who's been there, done that, and learn from them. I believe that a lot of people don't treat the business like a business, and therefore they don't succeed in the business.
I started out selling out of the trunk of my car.
If everybody think the same way, everybody going in the same line.
Being an entrepreneur takes everything that you've got. Weekends? What's weekends? We work on a weekend.
There are real opportunities everywhere you look.
But you have to have the passion.
If I do my part well, then everything is okay.
We believed in ourselves and our families believed in us.
Being convinced of this great opportunity, why we are all here doing what we're doing now.
This is Caroline Smith, marketing implementer for Sol Western Caribbean for Shell Lubricants, and you're watching Business Access TV, and they are serious about business.
even though I'm living my passion and this is what I love to do, we have to understand it's a business. If we don't treat it like a business and don't show up like it's a business, like a lot of reasons a lot of poets in America never transition to become a speaker is because they treat their poetry like it's a hobby. So they'll get an engagement to show up at 9 o'clock. They don't get here till 9:30, 10 o'clock. They're not treated like a business. Me, if you book me to speak and the speaking engagement is 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm flying in the night before because I might not get a flight. The flight could be late. So I'm gonna make sure once I fly in, I'm gonna call and let you know, listen, it's Kurt Nugent, I'm in town. You don't have to worry, I'm gonna be there on time. I'm always professional. I've never been late. I've gotten so much more business just from doing that, being on time, letting the client know I'm here, I'm in town, and I'm always well researched. I'll give you an example. I came here in, I think, 2006, and Les was with me. We were doing something at the National Arena. It was for corporate Jamaica. So I realized Les was on stage and he was speaking, and I'm looking at the audience and I'm not liking the reaction that I'm seeing. They're not seem to be fully engaged. So the first thing I did while Les is on stage, I took my jacket off, took my tie off, and I sat in the audience. And I'll ask the person I'm next to, is this what you came to hear? No? What did you come here to hear? When it was lunchtime, I sat with the audience. They thought I was one of the people from corporate Jamaica. I'm the keynote speaker. I'm going to be closing it. So by the time it was my time to go on stage at 4 o'clock, I knew what everybody wanted to hear. So with my first opening statement, I got a standing ovation because I was very in tune with my audience. And from doing that one thing, Sagicor brought me in, ICWI, Guardian Life. I just kept coming back to Jamaica and speaking because it's so important that you treat this thing like a business. And it's so important that the people who bring you in, they're paying good money to fly you in from wherever you're coming in. So make sure they feel like, oh my God, this was a great investment. So I'm always well researched. If I'm coming in to speak to Sagicor, I'll fly in 2-3 days before and speak to the people who work there, both management and employees, because I want to know what's the issue that management is facing. And I also want to know what are the issues that the employees are facing and how can we bridge that gap and find a working relationship. So I believe that a lot of people don't treat the business like a business, and therefore they don't succeed in the business. My slogan, or the mantra that I use, is helping ordinary people create extraordinary lives. And the reason why I say this is that I believe that everyone has the ability to be extraordinary. And it's just that Les used to say, what's the difference between the ordinary and the extraordinary? It's that little extra. And it's about going that extra step. But I don't believe you can become extraordinary if you go with the flow. You have to find what makes you tick. You have to find who you are, what's your passion. So the first thing that I try to do when I meet people is to build them up. My policy is if I meet someone, I'm either going to take them higher or leave them where I found them, but I'm never going to take them lower. And I believe that in order to create an extraordinary life, you have to be who God created you to be. The only thing in life that becomes relevant is how you treat people. When you're gone, that's what people remember. They always remember how you make them feel, not the size of your house, the size of your car, your accomplishment. What they remember is that human heart-to-heart connection. And all of us have the ability to be better human beings if we just make a decision that, you know, today I'm going to cause no harm. I'm not going to do any gossip. I'm not going to make anyone feel less than. I'm just going to uplift people. And it's very simple to do once you start being okay with yourself. Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you'll think it's destiny. And how you make the unconscious conscious is asking yourself, well, why does that bother me? Why did I react like that? Why did I treat her that way? And you always question your motives, and you'll bring the things that are unconscious to the conscious. And that one thing has changed my life, making the unconscious conscious. A quote that I read years ago said, if we avoid the difficult conversation, we trade short-term discomfort for long-term dysfunction. Now, I spoke earlier that my family was very dysfunctional. And in order to heal, we need to have some very difficult conversation. But a lot of people don't want to look at, well, I did this and I'm ashamed of it, because there's no judgment. It's like, look, in order to heal, we got to go back. It's like having a bullet wound and you put a Band-Aid over it. You can't do that. You got to open it and let the pus and all the ugliness come out. So my family is not willing to have the conversation that causes discomfort. So therefore, we've traveled along in dysfunction for 3-4 decades. Now, I can't help that, because It's one thing if I have forgiven you, it's another thing if you haven't forgiven yourself. So what I can do is break the cycle by making sure I'm not like that with my son. So even though I can't go back and have unwilling participants who are not willing to heal, I can make sure my immediate circle heals. Now, I want to make clear before we go that there's no animosity towards either one of my parents or any anger, because I knew they grew up in an environment where they were lacking love and they were treated in the most ungodly manner. So what they're doing is just a natural projection of someone who has not taken the time or does not have the resources to heal. So there's no anger or any animosity. I'm just saying I believe that we could heal by having some uncomfortable conversation that the family is not ready to have. And I find it ironic that I'm a speaker, but certain people I can't speak to. Wealth for me are my relationships. Wealth is not something that you can buy. It's not something you can purchase. It's nice to live a certain lifestyle. I'm not anti-money. I'm not anti-luxury. I'm all for that. But I'm not for that at the cost of the feelings of another human being. No, 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 no. I believe that human beings come first and wealth comes from the soul. So the wealth it's based on all your relationships. We've been misguided into believing the things that don't matter are wealth, and they're not.
Coming up on Point this week, we're talking coronavirus.
How will it affect tourism? How will it affect the shipping industry, business, commerce? We're talking about it right here on Point this Thursday on Business Access TV and on YouTube. Tune in.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
The Roujon Foundation was founded in 2003 by siblings Andrew and Christina Batchelor.
We started it as a school project back in 2003, very small, just a couple friends who came down, gave some computer supplies to rural schools, and we just came back and it got bigger and bigger every year.
Since inception, we've done annual workshops, so this is actually our 14th year of workshops and different sports camps. So we have NFL players that come down, NBA players that come. We do empowerment sessions. We have actors workshops and music workshops.
One of the foundation's annual events involves a week of activities in Jamaica. The acting and music workshops have over the years featured many celebrities such as Raven Simone, Jaleel White, Jussie Smollett, Lance Gross, and Iman Crossan.
Hey everybody, my name is Iman Crossan. I'm also known as Alpha Cat Online, aka the Obama Guy, and I am one of the coaches for the Roujon Foundation. This is my 5th year with the Roujon Foundation, and I became involved when Mrs. Batchelor invited me to come out and be a part of the program. It's been amazing being a part of the Roujon Foundation, because to come out here and to, you know, give back to the kids and just have fun and teach them acting and acting techniques. We have a blast every single year. I love it. When we come to Jamaica, we put on, specifically us, we put on an actors workshop, which involves a lot of, you know, basic training for things like improvisation, which is a very necessary actor's skill set, or for an actor's skill set, is to have improvisation. So we do a lot of exercises to introduce the kids to like what it takes to build, you know, your repertoire as an actor, you know, your techniques, your skills. And so each year we just come, we do improv games, we do memory games, we do, you know, sometimes we'll do like fake auditions and things like that. So it's a list of things that we put together for the kids every single year.
This is called the name and activity exercise. It's an icebreaker. He's going to explain what it is.
What's up, everybody?
Hi.
That was weak sauce.
What's up, everybody?
There we go. Listen, we're going to start off by getting to know each other. We're going to all introduce ourselves, but we're not going to just introduce ourselves. We're going to also tell a little bit about ourselves. So I might say, hey, my name is Amon, and I like to be loud.
Yeah! I'm Nikita. I like to sing. I'm taking you home with me tonight.
My name's Janina, and I like to be wild. My name is Jillian, and I love warm hugs. So I'm Morgan, and I guess I like to do just about anything.
I like to do just about anything.
My name is Dave Storm, and I like to say, wait, what you want to do that for?
Today we went over some improv exercises, which is improvising and acting. And we do little simple things like taking an object and pretending it's something else, saying things that spark imagination. Things like that.
This is the creative bottle exercise. So what you do, you act out a scenario using this bottle. Everybody else has to guess what this bottle is. So mine is. It's quiet. It's quiet. It's quiet. It's not golfing. Golf.
I'm your basic average girl.
Yo, what's up, Ali?
Broom.
What did I guess you?
We have done a game called Zip Zap Zop that goes crazy every single year. It's a game of speed and focus. You have to clap and look a person in the eye and say zip, zap, or zop in that order. And if you mess up, you're out. So it gets highly competitive every year.
Zip, zap, zop. 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 Let go now. Let go now.
Zip. Zop. Zap. Zip. Zop. Zap. Zip.
You. Zap. Zop. Zip. Zap. Zop. Zip. Zop.
Zip.
Who's it to?
Zap.
Zop.
Zip.
Zap. Zop.
Zip.
Zap.
Zop.
Zip.
Zap.
Zop. Zip. Zap. Zop. Zip.
Zap.
Zop.
Zip.
Zap.
Zop.
Zip.
Zap.
Zop.
Zip.
Zap.
Zop. Zip. Zop. Zip.
Zap.
Zip.
Outside of coming here to Jamaica, back home in the States, we do all kinds of things like dodgeball tournaments, celebrity basketball games, baseball games, a lot of different things that contribute and add to the Rujan Foundation for our charity efforts. I've seen a lot of growth over the years with the Rujan Foundation and coming here. Not only just growth in the amount of kids that come and partake, but also a lot of kids that were so much younger have grown up and they're still here. You know, they keep coming back. And this is, I believe, my 5th year doing this. And it's just cool to come back and see familiar faces and lots of new ones every single time. I think overall what I like about Jamaica and doing the activities here is that the Jamaican culture is so beautiful. The people are beautiful, the energy, the attitudes, everything. Everyone's so positive and happy. Like, it's just a very beautiful place to be, and not just visually, but just the spirit of the people here, the spirit of, you know, the island. Like, it's just so positive and uplifting. Like, you never have a bad time here in Jamaica, ever. And then doing this is just so much fun. It just makes it even better. I will work with the Rujan Foundation as long as I'm breathing, period. There's no reason not to. All of us as creatives that work in the entertainment industry or the sports industry or any industry that we come out, there's always new avenues to open up doors. You know, some years, you know, one year we had a model come here and give modeling workshops. You know, we have dancers that give dance workshops. Musicians come and give music workshops like we're doing again this year. So I think it's just, as we grow, whatever is needed or whatever can be helpful, we just add it to the roster and just bring it in.
One of the newest additions to the Rujan Foundation team is actor Dexter Darden, who teamed up with Daystorm Power to conduct the music workshop.
So far, it's been absolutely incredible. When I was talking to King Batch about it, he was like, bro, I need you to come down. I need you to get with us, and I think it'd be a lot of fun. I said, so down. You know, my grandfather on my dad's side had Jamaican roots, and so it was definitely something that I wanted to be a part of, and I love working with kids. I have a very philanthropic heart, so coming down here and working with these kids. I came down on my birthday, actually, and you know, all the kids were so kind and so nice and so eager and ready to learn. And they sang happy birthday to me, and that was incredible. So this has just been an amazing experience so far. So we do everything. That's the great thing about the Rujan Foundation. It's all in one. So day one, we do acting and singing workshops. Day two is basketball, football, baseball, dance, any field activities, and any movement activities. So we have professional basketball players and baseball players and football players. So, you know, we have it all covered. If you need a specialist in any category, the Rujan Foundation provides it.
It stains, it rains, it pains, until it all drains. In it, to win it,
Bring it on.
bring it on, world, my world. That's our song.
You know, a lot of these kids are really talented. And that's what's so great about these workshops. You know, people just come to express themselves, which is also incredible and fine. But, you know, a lot of these kids have talent. Like, we were playing basketball with kids yesterday, and they were jumping up and dunking. And, you know, we had girls who could really sing and boys who could really dance. So the diversity in the cultures and the people, it's incredible. And the food, the music, you know, something about Jamaica just makes me feel at home. The easygoingness, the love, the peace that everybody provides. And the music, man. I like to dance, so I like to move my shoulders and, you know, eat my jerk chicken or my jerk fish and then get the movie, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Oh, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dexter. Happy birthday to
I think it's important to give back. I think coming down and, like, working with our youth, you know, and inspiring these kids have talent. You know, it's not just kids, and it also gives them something to look forward to, and to get them away from what they've been doing and what's been bothering them. And so, you know, I think if there was more programs like this, the world would be a better place.
Coming up on Caring Hands.
Take the guesswork out of improving your IT infrastructure. The field of IT changes so quickly that it can be hard to plan a strategy while keeping up with technological advancements. Yet, without a strategic roadmap built on data-driven insights, your staff can be overworked, spending excessive time putting out technical fires, instead of focusing on strategic tasks that fulfill core business needs. Our IT consulting services are the first step towards transforming your enterprise IT and improving your business efficiency. Our experts have the industry experience and best-in-class tools to methodically assess your entire support operation. We look at your IT support services holistically, identifying improvement areas that will have the greatest impact on employee productivity, service levels, and customer satisfaction. Need help improving your infrastructure uptime? Contact us to discuss a solution that will provide you greater productivity and efficiency. Email info@dodgen.global. Website https://dodgen.global.
Coming up on Point this week, we're talking coronavirus.
How will it affect tourism? How will it affect the shipping industry, business, commerce? We're talking about it right here on Point this Thursday on Business Access TV and on YouTube. Tune in.
In keeping with their goal to promote education through athletics, the Roujon Foundation hosts one of their annual sports camps at Kingston College.
Sports camp was basically to teach the kids the real fundamentals of the sports. We have NFL players, NBA players that come down, teach them how to play the sport, just the fundamentals. So the goal is to let them know that it's easy to apply yourself as long as you apply yourself.
The bachelors have adopted Kingston College for a very special reason.
My dad went to KC, and we made a track there. We donated that track there, and we called it after my dad's name.
Now that we have our synthetic track, the next challenge is a proper maintenance and upkeep so that we can maximize the lifespan and reduce wear and tear. The manufacturers have left instructions, I believe, as to how we can care and maintain for this track, and additional information can be found online about surfaces made of similar material. The cost of this track does not allow us to make it something that we can easily replace. So I cannot emphasize the importance of taking excellent care of it as we have waited many years to get it. To be honest with you, I'm expecting some form of return on my investment, and that is that we have to win champs in 2018 and the next few years. KC has the support, we have the coaches and athletes to make this happen, so let's do it. Kudos to the KC Old Boys and others who have made contributions outside of the scope of the Roujon Foundation. Your contribution were greatly appreciated and went towards a worthy project. I encourage other Old Boys to seek out projects that are personal of importance to them and KC. We should try to vary the source of funding so that we are not always going back to the same few selected Old Boys to complete the projects of our choice.
The track at KC has been a dream of mine for a very long time. And I remember stories of my dad telling me about how he used to run on a dirt track. And then decades later, I come to KC and I see the same exact track. And my thought was, if Jamaica produces the best athletes in the world with these training facilities, imagine what they can do if they have the proper training equipment. I just want to say that this project demonstrates that the Jamaican diaspora has not forgotten their roots. I want to thank all the KC Old Boys and everybody in America who helped. And I just want to encourage other, people from Jamaican heritage, Jamaican parents, Jamaican grandparents to give back to Jamaica. I also want to acknowledge Andre Blatch and Trey Oliver. Can you guys stand? I'm not going to call you up. I just want you guys to stand. They were major contributors to the track, and this track could not have happened without their large financial contributions. So I just want to thank you guys. And like my dad said, I hope that this is not the last major addition or change to KC. KC now has the tools to dominate in track and field. To all the track athletes, you guys have no excuses. I need a win at Champs next year. Very serious. And possibly an invite from one of you guys to the next Olympics. Don't forget about me. But thank you, Daddy. This is for you. I hope you guys love it.
Coming up on Caring Hands.
Hey guys, I'm Candy and welcome to Chill Spot, Jamaica's ultimate leisure show. This season promises to reveal some of the hidden treasures of the lifestyle industry by taking you to the chill spots of some of Jamaica's most brilliant business minds, giving you a glimpse into how they choose to unwind and just pull a vibe. You won't want to miss what happens next. Stay tuned.
Coming up on point this week, we're talking coronavirus.
How will it affect tourism? How will it affect the shipping industry, business, commerce? We're talking about it right here on Point this Thursday on Business Access TV and on YouTube. Tune in.
The activities continue when the Rougon Foundation takes a visit to Montego Bay for another sports camp.
Since we started, the numbers have been crazy. We started off with like small sports camps, maybe like 50, 75 people, and then we've grown to, over 600 people at each sports camp.
Many students have gotten the opportunity to pursue higher education through scholarships funded by the Rougon Foundation. Most of these scholars have stayed close to the foundation and continue to volunteer their time.
Joel was a scholarship recipient in 2013, and now he's taken over. He's the biggest success story for the Rougon.
Hi everybody, my name is Joel Nomdarkam. I'm one of the volunteers for the Rougon Foundation. I was a scholarship recipient in 2013, and since then I've just been giving back my time for the last 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 4 years. I mean, it's an amazing foundation. It was an important part of my life, moving from high school to university, getting that financial support that was so necessary and so needed. And I'm not the only person who benefited tremendously from the foundation, but you have a host of scholars who have gone on to pursue medicine, who have gone on to pursue business, marketing, several different degrees. So I think it's an amazing foundation, and what they're doing for the country is amazing as well, because the good part about it is that they're investing in students who are not necessarily going overseas, but investing in us to invest in Jamaica, if you get what I mean. Like super excited, super important for development, and it's just really great to be a part of it. I heard about the foundation when I was in lower six at Kingston College. I remember Raven Simone coming to Jamaica. I was like, wait, why is Raven here? And then that's when I found out what the Rougon Foundation really is, and since then I've just been giving my time. And then moving from lower 6 to upper 6, I realized that there was a scholarship opportunity as well with the foundation coming to Jamaica every year. So that's when I applied for the scholarship, because I couldn't have done it in lower 6. So I applied for it in upper 6, and I was awarded the Andre Blatch Leadership Award, which Andre Blatch is one of the basketballers that he comes on the trips every year, hosts a basketball camp all the time. The most important part about it is that I get an opportunity to provide other students with the same opportunities that I got by speaking to them, letting them know that, okay, there are several opportunities a part of the foundation that you can seize. So actually seeing, most of them getting those opportunities was good. For example, some of the scholarship recipients the year after me, Lenica Roden, she was one of my mentees from high school. She went to the Queen School and she became a scholarship recipient. John Luke Foster went to school with me at KC. He became a scholarship recipient. Maurice Fisher, all of those were people who looked up to me while I was head boy at KC, and to see them actually come on board and become volunteers and scholarship recipients, that's amazing. Some of the opportunities that also come, you get to, this year I went to Los Angeles to the dodgeball tournament, which was my first time going to LA, going to Hollywood, all those fancy places, and it was as a result of being a part of the foundation. So I love that about it, but it's really the most important part that I love is seeing how much of an influence I can be to others and getting them on board as well. And I'm so looking forward to other youngsters becoming scholarship recipients in the future and benefactors of the foundation and its work. And there's no other school that the foundation could have been so close with. I mean, Byron Batchelor, who is the father of Andrew Batchelor, he went to Kingston College, he did tracks. I don't know if you guys realize that we got a new track from them. So the connection is really, really good, and I think it's important as well, because not only do we provide an opportunity for the Kingston College boys to participate, but we extend the reach to the surroundings too. So for example, Georges would join us for the camp. We have Denham Town. We had Denham Town this year joining us for the dancing camp. So it's important. The connection is really good. As I said before, KC is the #1 school. So there's no other school that could have been great facilitators of the Rouge on every year since 2003. So connection is good, and I think it's the most important connection. Yeah. One of the most important things about the foundation is that we're very active on social media, so we encourage people who are interested to become a part of the organization to send us a DM, send us an email, tweet us, send us a message on Facebook. And one of the things is that we also have a host of volunteers participating during this time. So for example, because we have 2 camps, we have one in Kingston, one in Montego Bay. The lead volunteers would be the scholars, and they would get other people involved and on board. For example, right now we're at the Montego Bay Sports Camp, and most of the volunteers are persons who one of the lead volunteers, Aubrey Stewart, he got persons from the community, from the school who are interested in volunteering, and they're here helping us now for the dance camp, for the music workshop, acting workshop, all those workshops. So people can become involved with the organization. Just reach out to us, and we definitely need the help, because as you can see, a lot of kids are interested in the movement. So always welcome on board.
If you want to help out with the foundation, it's simple. You go on the website, rougeonfoundation.com, and we have everything there. If you want to get involved, if you want to donate, help the cause, and yeah. If you want to start in your own country, it's simple. Just, go to the community shelter or wherever they have, and, talk to the owner and say, hey, I want to get involved, I want to donate. You could do during different holidays, if you want to do a food drive, get your friends together, get all the food together and start giving out to the people who can't afford food.
The overall aim is just to impact as many lives as possible and in a meaningful way, and just to show people that there are different tools and different paths to success, and helping everyone find their different path. We have scholarship students and we follow them throughout the years, not only in their education, but just helping them along in life just to make sure they succeed as successful adults. If you want to start your own foundation, I encourage volunteering first and just learning how the process works, and then following something that's in your passion. I mean, once you're passionate about something and you have a little bit of skills, you'll learn over time. So it's start small wherever you can, and definitely grow. When I started the foundation, I didn't think it would turn into this big thing, and it did. And, just follow your heart.
When I started in 2003, it was literally maybe just 10 of us, and now we've come down with 2 busloads. So I didn't see it coming like this, but yeah, it's huge and it's amazing.
So my name is Daystorm Power. I've been with Rouge for about 5 years now. I come out to teach the music class. This year was me, Dexter Darden, and Janina. We had an amazing class where we taught them a lot of information, and we had them sing amazing spiritual and 5-part harmony. Every year come out is amazing. I love it. I think every year for me, I feel like it's getting larger and larger every year. I expected the kids to have a lot of energy, and they show improve every year. Every time I think they're going to give more, they give even more. So it's always beyond my expectations.
#1 series in the world.
#1 series in the world.
It's just important because I feel like this is my second home. I feel like these are where my roots come from, and I just want to give people the proper tools to succeed. Just as I was given the tools, like as I was growing up, I just want to make sure that everyone has the tools to succeed. It's always a great time. The kids always have a great time. You know, scholarship students always say they benefit from our ongoing involvement in their life. So I can't just pick one special moment. I think everything has just been really impactful and great.
Overall, it was a great success. I mean, we came in, we have the exercises, we have what we have that we thought we planned out, but it always goes a lot better. You know, the kids are always happy, having a great time. It makes us have a great time when we see the kids having a great time.
And that concludes this interview. Goodbye.
I started out selling out of the trunk of my car.
If everybody think the same way, everybody going in the same line.
Being an entrepreneur takes everything that you've got. Weekends? What's weekends? We work on a weekend.
There are real opportunities everywhere you look.
But you have to have the passion.
If I do my part well, then everything is okay.
We believed in ourselves and our families believed in us.
Being convinced of this great opportunity, why we are all here doing what we're doing now.
My name is Yanni Epstein, CEO of ITEL BPO Solutions. You're watching Business Access TV, Sirius